Hello everyone, welcome to the event 49 final table here at the 2024 World Series of Poker. $3,000 buy-in, no-limit hold'em freezeout. My name is Donnie Peters, and I am joined today by Andrew Headley. How you doing, sir?
Good evening, Donnie. Excited to be here, my friend.
You're
First time.
Popping your WSOP cherry.
I am. I'm popping it as we speak. First time here at the World Series. Very excited, my friend, as I was saying to you when I joined the booth. Looking forward to this one.
Great, great. There you guys see the payouts on your screen. More than $523,000 up top for the winner. The final five from a field of 1,252. They are guaranteed $132,000. You guys may recognize Andrew's voice. He does some commentary for the Merit stream, some stuff in Europe, so he's no stranger to the booth. A virgin, yes, for the WSOP stuff, but my pleasure to have him alongside me today because Remco's still out sick, unfortunately. He's got the whole horseshoe flu or whatever we want to call it.
The dreaded Vegas flu, Donnie.
Hopefully you don't get it.
I've been seeing it, you know, everywhere. Every table I sit at, there's people coughing, spluttering. You know, I feel like I need one of those, you know, windshield face mask malarkeys to block it out.
A whole giant big bubble. Starting things off right away with two jacks here for Erlend Melson out of Norway. Chip leader to start the day is Nikolay Yosifov out of Bulgaria.
Yeah, interesting decision point for him right off the bat here, Donnie. You know, he's going to want to leverage pressure right on Melson. Melson in that awkward sort of second place spot where he's not going to want to clash. Yosifov likely to continue with either a call or 3-bet. And here we see it, Donnie, getting right after Melson.
I like it. I'm always a big fan of chip leaders that leverage their stack. So, you know, of course we see that, yes, Melson has a very good hand, but it's still good to see that aggression from Yosifov and likely a sign of things to come.
Absolutely. Round to Stamm, ace-jack off. You know, he may think that Yosifov is going to mess around a lot, but not much we can do here. And awkward one, Donnie, for Melson. Obviously not going anywhere here with jacks. But, you know, we don't want to 4-bet get this in. I don't think at this stack depth could be a bit of a disaster if we run into it.
Yeah, Erlend Melson, as you guys can see at the top of your screen, the leaderboard presented by Monkey Tilt. Second in chips of this final five, so if he were to get it in and get called, I mean, we see that he wouldn't get called, but it would be a bit of an ICM disaster.
That's it. So likely to decide to call, Donnie, but you never know. He's going to know that Yosifov,
of course,
is going to be, as you mentioned, applying pressure. See what he decides. Looks to be counting out a call.
Might be a 4-bet.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, the pinks are the big denominations. Wow, it's gone pretty big.
So those pink chips are worth 500K each. The blues are worth 100K each. So the 4-bet up to 3.6 million. Now it's on Yosifov.
Yeah, Melson perhaps just deciding, Donnie, to simplify things. Yep. Doesn't want to take it post out of position. Nicely done.
Also a little bit of, you know, hey, listen, I know you're the chip leader. I know I'm second in chips. I know you might mess with me a little bit, but not right now, okay?
Yeah. And there's something to be said for that, right? Setting your stall out as if to say, no, you know, you're not just going to run me over.
With that pot, Melson climbs up to 14.7 million, so very much closing the gap with him and Yosifov up at the top.
Yeah, Yosifov, Melson, and Hoy all kind of similarly bunched, whereas we have Stamm and Schwartz with the sub-20 BBs to work with.
All five of these final players looking for their first World Series of Poker gold bracelet. Again, more than $523,000 up top.
What? Did you read anything?
Boy here, a local out of Henderson, Nevada.
Oh, I went back.
500K on the button, 8, 9 of clubs. We are playing 125K small blind, 250K big blind.
Close by. 15 minutes away, but you know, too far.
David Stamm here is going to move all, and you may recognize David Stamm from the 25K final table when Nick Schulman won. David Stamm, David Stamm was at that final table. He took home 4th place in that event for $529,000. Gets that shove through there. Nicely done, nicely timed.
Yeah, very nice. Takes that ace-8, recognizing he's going to do pretty well against the button open, sends it in. I got to give a shout out, Donnie, to one of my housemates this summer, Dean Lyle. He came in 3rd place in that event.
Yes, yes.
The man we call Dino Supremo amongst his Scottish brethren. But yeah, Dean came 3rd for, I think, $750,000 bucks.
Yeah, quite a bit of a breakout score for him. Played very well at the final table. Of course, it's hard when Nick Schulman just had the massive chip lead that he did, you know. So, but 3rd place, an extremely respectable result, of course.
He's been lording it up over us, Donnie, around the house.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Strutting around saying none of you are going to get close.
I think you have to. Definitely think you have to. I mean, if you have a score like that, I mean, you gotta strut your stuff, man.
I know, but it's not fun for us, you know. He's like, none of you are going to get anywhere close.
It's motivating
to
for you guys. You guys gotta, you know, you're gonna have to finish like 11th place in the main now.
I know. I don't want to come 11th, Donnie. Don't put that out into the universe, please. Nah, we love him, really. That's a great score for him.
For those of you joining us on the PokerGO YouTube channel, we are also on PokerGO and select fast channels such as Pluto TV. But for those of you on the PokerGO YouTube channel, hit that like button for us, subscribe to the channel. That's really the only currency we ask for. We are bringing you this final table in full, so we're going to take it from these 5 players all the way down to a winner. Boy here, min raise, ace-10 off.
Yosifov here, content to flick in the defend with 9-5 of spades.
Queen-9 deuce here with a couple of hearts. Yosifov takes the lead with a pair of 9s. Checks over to Hoy.
Yeah, does flop the best of it. Interesting spot for Hoy with that 10 of hearts in hand, Donnie. Likely to continue with c-bet. Comes in for around about a 3rd pot. A little bit less.
Yosifov not going anywhere, sticking around. Has the best of it currently. 7 of hearts on the turn. Could be a little bit spicy here with, as you mentioned, that 10 of hearts in Hoy's hand.
Yeah, these are the really interesting spots at these final tables. Hoy, of course, unlikely, Donnie, to want to get into a big confrontation. The way the chips stacks are distributed does decide against the double barrel semi-bluff. Through to the 4 of spades river. Yosifov still best.
A little over 2 million out there. Yosifov checks. Hoy checks back, and Yosifov's going to table those pair of 9s and take it down.
Yeah, going to be delighted to take that one down. Maybe a missed opportunity, Donnie, for Hoy.
Yeah, I mean, he might have been able to represent on, I mean, either the turn or the river, really.
Sure.
You know, put a lot of pressure on the type of hand that Yosifov had. You know,
right.
The second pair, even the bottom pair there.
Thank you.
The current pay jump is $47,000, so
Yeah, please. Swing that over.
a big chunk of change if you just ladder up to 4th
Sure.
place.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah, it can be a little scary, right? Just barreling into the chip leader here.
Of course. And something that we never really know is we don't know the dynamics between these players.
Right.
You know, yes, we can see them right now. We're 5-handed. That's great. But they've been playing together for a couple days, you know, and as the tournament has converged, they've likely been playing with each other a little bit more. So they are a little bit more familiar with how each player is playing, their tendencies, all that sort of stuff. At least for the first early bit of this final table, we're going to play a little bit of a guessing game on things, and they have a kind of a better understanding with where things are.
Absolutely. You see Stamm coming for a raise, Donnie. 16 big blinds or so to start the hand. Come in for the min. The king-jack offsuit. Hoy with the 9-7 of hearts. Going to defend.
Ace, 9, 6. Boy flops the best of it. We'll see if Stamm wants to continue here.
400.
400.
Does fire quarter pot, 400k. Of course, going to see c-bet very often on this ace high board. Hoy though, middle pair and backdoors done 8. Going to take one off.
3 of diamonds on the turn. Boy still best here. This is a spot where I would like to see Stamm fire a second bullet because of this sort of texture. You know, that ace high is.
900.
And look at Stamm. He has
Wow,
got good
credit
recognition
to him.
here. I like this.
Yeah, very nice. Look to put pressure, Donnie, on like a 9, right?
Yeah,
something like
exactly.
a 6x, 7-8, hands like this. This is really tough now for Hoy. Facing sort of 40%, 900k, but Stamm with just 3 million back. Really tough to find a call here. He's had a few tough spots, Donnie, right off the bat here on this final our coverage.
There it is. Stamm gets it done. Aggression is the name of the game, as we know so often.
Yeah, very nicely done.
Not the biggest pot for Stamm, but very important because he's able to separate himself with Schwartz a little bit. You know, get a little bit of breathing room there. Now
Okay,
it is
I can
certainly
stop
Schwartz
playing.
as
Got some of these.
the short stack.
How does
Not
it
gonna be
feel?
able to say that 10 times
Excellent.
fast.
I have to tell you.
What next?
Am I next?
Yeah, really
We'll
nice
see.
pickup. Not easy to fire that second shell.
We'll see. I keep peeling
Gets it done.
7, 7, 8, natural. I need natural 9 to do something.
When I came into the booth, Donnie, you said Stamm was going to be tough.
Get the baccarat.
Tough to get rid of. Like
Yeah, he plays a lot at the PokerGO
Otherwise,
studio.
right,
Plays a
quick
lot of the
exit.
high roller stuff. I believe he came previously from the tech world, but is now dived into poker quite a bit. One of those. He probably started more as a serious recreational, but is very serious right now, and certainly works on his game a lot. Battles hard at some of the highest stakes. I already referenced his 4th place finish in that 25K high roller. So
Yeah.
he's going to be a tough cookie to crack, that's for sure. I think he even got a shout out in Nick Schulman's winter interview, saying that David Stamm was a very, very tough player. He was short for quite a bit of that final table, but was able to battle and finish 4th.
action back on Schwartz on the short stack. King 6 of clubs going to get out of the way.
Raise 600.
Yosifov with the ace-10 off, come in for the min raise from the cutoff. Take this one down pre.
Yosifov out of Bulgaria, 185,000 in live tournament earnings, according to thehendonmob.com. His 7th cash this summer. 7th WSOP cash this summer.
Wow, already?
Yeah, and I think he has another cash in a $600 event at Aria, so things are trending in the right direction. This, of course, the biggest cash for him, making this final table run, but although he's kind of an unknown to us, certainly seems like he knows a thing or two, knows his way around a poker table. There's just so many good players these days that you just don't know about.
It's scary,
just,
right? I
there's
know.
so many.
I'm like trying to do my research before a
Yeah.
day 2. I mean, I haven't made one yet, Donnie, since I got here, but don't worry, we'll get there.
And so many players these days can be crushers online.
Yeah.
And you would have no idea that who they are or whatnot. So it's always very interesting.
Yeah, it's got to be a good feeling. 7 cashes already,
Call.
a couple of weeks into the series.
Melson with the limp from the small blind. Schwartz checks his option. 9-7 of spades for Melson. Queen 10 off for Schwartz. 10-8-7 could be a bit of an action flop here. Bottom pair and an open-end straight draw for Melson. Top pair, queen kicker for Schwartz. Melson checks.
Yeah, potential for a lot of chips to go in here, Donnie. Schwartz with just around about 14 big blinds behind. Looks like half pot.
We'll check back at his cards for Melson.
Yeah, a couple of options. Typically likely to call, you would think, but there is some, you know, latitude for some aggression. Let's land on call.
Ace on the turn here. Schwartz still out in front.
I don't think he's going to be too worried, Donnie, about the ace. Like most of Melson's ace X, you would have imagined would have shoved pre, right? At 14 big blinds deep. Does check back.
Okay.
Proves to 2-pair on the river.
Schwartz, you can see with that Golden Knights hat, he does hail from here, Las Vegas, Nevada. His second live WSOP cash, according to Hendon. Doesn't have too many live tournament earnings, just $6,100. So
wow,
this is quite a big result for him.
Yeah, is of course going to go for value here on the river. Goes for a third pot, Donnie. Try and get called by these sort of 1-pair 8x, sort of 7x type holdings.
And it's a pretty good spot for him, given the fact that, you know, there are some missed draws, which is, you know, obviously what Melson's thinking about here.
Sure.
The most obvious one, of course, hearts missed. So
yeah, going to be thinking to himself, where does the value portion of Schwartz's range begin? And you can probably bet a queen, right? Just a queen alone.
he's going to pay it off.
Yeah.
You see the bad news.
Very nicely done from Schwartz. Pot controls the turn and finds a nice little value bet on the river, Donnie.
Oh, yes.
What does that
He's
tell
up over $6 million. So
You're
the two
right.
short stacks, David Stamm, Jonathan
What's
Schwartz,
happening next?
both winning
No
pots
more.
early,
No more.
chipping nicely.
Let's both keep
That's
the.
just one
time.
That's one time. That's enough. That's enough. So now we all have one, so I feel at least it's okay. Well,
Yeah. Fairly distributed. Well, not quite fairly.
It feels almost like a good development for Yosifov. You know, if
I will
all these
continue my
stacks sort of
quest to
bunch
collect some
together
more.
and he's well out in front, it's kind of nice for the chip leader. It should be able to apply a lot of pressure.
That's a theme that we've seen on many of these streams. I've talked about Nick Schulman's 25K when he had a huge chip lead, was pretty much doing whatever he wanted.
Right.
Timur Margolin, when he won the $800 deep stack tournament, massive chip lead, was pretty much doing whatever he wanted. Yesterday in the $1,500 monster stack tournament, Pedro Neves, big chip lead, was, you know, very much controlled dominance from start to finish. So
how did your run in the 25K end? I didn't look at the hand history of anything. Was it bad? Like, did that beat, or was it just?
Oh, you mean the very last hand? Well, Shulman was pushing every hand, so he had a random hand in the small blind.
Right.
I had Jack 5 suited, which I think is like 50% equity, and it was, I had 2 big blinds left, so I called. He had Queen 5.
Wow. That's unlucky. He ran
He was
crazy.
running pure.
Yeah.
That guy was running pure. Playing fantastic, of course.
Yeah.
Running pure. So no, that was it.
That's cool though. It's a great.
Thank you very much.
It's a great run.
I'm not supposed to
It was a
root for
blast.
anyone, Donnie,
Just
but
like
he
this.
is. It's like
Yeah,
you told me when I walked in. Very easy to root for is Stamm.
Yes. That final table
be
that he
happy
took
we're
fourth
here
place
and
in
not
that
over there, 'cause those
25K
lights are so
is
damn
on
bright.
PokerGo.com. If you
100%.
happen to
Very
miss it, you can go back and watch the replay. Nick Schulman won his 5th WSOP gold bracelet in it. He won a
He's got some
massive
negative
flip early
seven.
against Noel Rodriguez.
Hands over.
They were first and second in chips. Ace king for Rodriguez, queens for Schulman. Schulman like stood up and like shook, like chills.
Oh,
took
you're
over
not
him,
happy, are
know?
you? Yeah, I remember it well. Such a cool customer in general, isn't he? But this was a big
Even
spot.
that one, even the
This
most
is a big
experienced
spot.
person was like,
six.
oh,
Six.
like,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
We're just going to flip for like 80% of the
Six
chips
total.
we play? I guess so.
Interesting here, Donnie. How are you going to defend King 4? Pretty wide with the stacks the way they are, but is going to complete.
Ace 8-7 here, rainbow. Good flop for Schwartz, top pair. Not much there at all for Hoy.
Стрим, нали, така че като пуснат, виж, Фелско ме форбет на първата ръка. Аз имах по 9, че там 3 бетна. И в PokerGO канала.
Should be handover.
То безплатно. Да, там ще го пуснат.
I did see Pedro, and he is a very good player. You know, I've played a lot with him, seen a lot of him online. Yeah, he's very, very good. And it seemed pretty smooth, right, throughout, just sort of.
Yeah, he, at that Monster Stack table yesterday, I mean, he started the final 7-handed play with the chip lead and a big chip lead, and he never gave up the top spot. A couple of dips here and there, as expected in tournament poker, but you know, overall, he was just very much in control and could really do no wrong. So, very, very well-deserved win. He played extremely good. So it was really, really fun to watch him get his first World Series of Poker gold bracelet.
You need some from me too?
And we like that, right?
Only if you want.
Like, it's fun to see
really?
the, you know,
Optional?
goats of the game, so to speak, but also nice to see people, you know, hunting down that first one.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes the World Series of Poker
There's a pink
like
one.
different from every other tournament series out there. I mean, all tournament series are very good, of course, yes, but the World Series of Poker just, it brings everything from like first timers to the most seasoned veterans, and you really do see it all.
Absolutely, the best of the best. And some new challengers. So the crown,
No.
stand with the Queen 8, Donnie,
Surrender.
get
I
out of the
surrender.
way.
Did you ever play blackjack with surrender?
Cheap trick, surrender.
I surrender. Cheap trick.
David Stamm out of California, you see him in the gray cap there, little flower pattern on his shirt and the mask. 2.1 million in live tournament earnings. Plays a lot of high roller events around Las Vegas. Plays a lot over at the PokerGO studio, so we've seen a bit of him there.
And he's really catching fire, fourth in the 25K. And, you know, this, how many runners do we have here? 1,500, you said?
1,252.
Right, I mean,
you know, big
pretty
field.
tough, right, to final table an event with so many runners.
I mean, it's hard to make day two.
Donnie, I haven't been there yet this series, honestly. It's stressing me out a little
Either
bit.
have I, so don't worry about it.
Tomorrow, my friend, we're both going to do it.
There you go. I like it.
We're both going to make it.
Yosifov here, a pretty Jack 10 of diamonds, min raise 600K. Melson defends the big blind with ace 9 of spades. These two are first and second in chips. King 8-8, 1 diamond.
I'm going to see a lot of very small betting out of Yosifov here. Intrigued to see how Melson responds to this, Donnie. You know, of course, he's going to be aware Yosifov is going to be very wide, and on such a dry board, ace high can, of course, be good. Does reach for calling chips.
6 of spades on the turn. Nice looking card for Melson.
Yeah, not the turn that Yosifov was looking for. Of course, wrapping around that king and with diamonds in hand. But does decide to give this one up. Makes a lot of sense, Donnie. I think it'll be tough to shift your opponent off a king or an 8 if they have it. And, you know, backdoor spades is a thing, and it's a thing on the river too. Melson makes the nut flush.
.5 out there. Looks like 1.3 to me, so half pot. Not much Yosifov can do there. Into the muck it goes, and Melson takes that one. Interesting to note now that Melson has now won 2 pots against the chip leader Yosifov. He won those jacks early when he elected to 4-bet, and there he takes that pot off Yosifov. So
yeah.
See if that develops into a thing a little bit more as we go.
Would you start with?
It's always nice, right, in the early goings against that big stack to just sort of stop them in their
4,
tracks.
5,
That's enough. That's
6,
enough.
7,
That's enough.
6 and change. I
Yeah,
don't know.
more than me.
Something like that.
Stamm is back down to the short stack.
You had a few chips before.
Yeah. It's been the whole tournament, you know. It's like
Are we on 40-minute levels, Donnie, or is it an hour?
I think it's an hour.
Okay.
I'll look it up for sure. believe it's an hour, though. Should be 30 minutes at this stage. Yeah, 60 minutes on days 2 and day 3.
Okay.
600.
40 minutes on day 1. This was a freeze-out tournament. You know, a lot of tournaments allow for some re-entry, but not this one. $3,000 No-Limit Hold'em Freezeout event.
As we see Yosifov continue the aggression, King 7 of spades, and Hoy is here to play, Donny. I think lots of players would pass this spot, but deciding, Queen Jack, I've got position, I'm against an aggressive chip leader. I'm going to play to win. Does want to C3 with the Queen Jack off.
Yeah, we'll see if it invites Melson or Schwartz here in from the blinds. Melson at least looks interested here.
Wow.
Oh, here we go. This looks like he's about to raise. Oh, yeah.
Wow, this is spicy. Must admit,
This
Donny,
is
of all
great
the options, I
recognition.
did not see this one coming. We can see he's timed it beautifully. Squeezes it up to 8 big blinds. Yosifov. Yeah, I mean, kind of just have to get out of the way, right?
Yeah. Hoy also out of the
Wow.
way, so well done there from Erlend Melson out of Norway.
Just a little.
Seems very green in general. I mean, he looks the part.
Yeah.
And why I say he means green, because I looked him up on Hendemop. 3rd ever cash, live cash. $9,100 in live
Okay.
earnings. So maybe he's an online
Could
superstar.
be an online
I have no
phenom.
idea, but
I mean, that was spicy. I did not expect to see it. Maybe a little glimpse into his psyche
Yeah.
and how he wants to approach this final table.
I mean, I think that spot right there, in combination with what we saw with the jacks earlier, where he certainly could have went conservative and just called
Sure.
pre-flop, but he elected to 4-bet. I mean, my feeling right now, and I know we're only a handful of hands in, but he's not going to back down.
Oh, no, he's definitely
playing
not.
to win, which is great. You know, that's what
Yeah.
we want. We want action.
We do. Yeah, I mean, King 8 off, really, you know, he's stepping out. He is stepping out. Credit to him. Timed it to perfection.
Stamm here, 600K with Jack 9 of diamonds out of the cutoff seat. Yosifov's in the big blind. He's going to defend 10-8 of spades.
Eight in the window, followed by a 7 and a 9, Donny. Action flop.
Yeah, another fun one here. Top pair, gut
Okay.
shot straight draw, backdoor diamonds for Stamm, the pre-flop raiser. Second pair, open-ended straight draw, backdoor spades for Yosifov. So a lot working here, and again, Stamm is the shortest stack, so he's not the deepest right now. 1.6 in the middle, he's got 4.3 behind.
Yeah,
Yosifov
potential
checks.
for fireworks for sure. Stamm with just 14 blinds behind.
700,000.
And he's going relatively large, Donny, just a shade under half. Of course, his hand needs a lot of protection. Decision on Yosifov. They could get this in, Donny.
Yeah, I mean, Yosifov, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just rip this.
Yeah. You know, we have a hand that always has a lot of equity. We can get some better hands to fold. Not out with the realms of possibility. See, the wheels are turning.
All in.
And here we go.
There it is. Now it is on David Stamm. A call here. Of course, he does have the best of it now, but his tournament life would be on the line.
Yeah, big moments for Stamm. It doesn't feel great, Donny, does it? But we do have that gut shot. We have backdoor diamonds. We can just have the best hand, as we can see he
All
does
right.
on this occasion. Yeah, credit to him. Finds the
go.
brave call.
What do you have?
10 million in the middle, Donny.
This is huge. Huge for Stamm.
10-8 на валей 9.
$47,000 pay jump on the line right now
Pair
as
of eights
well.
open-ended.
If Stamm's Jack 9
Pair of
holds up,
nines.
he's going to double up to to more than
with a
10 million in
gut
chips.
shot.
If not, Yosifov's going to take him out and
So
become
that's
a very,
my
very
breakdown.
dominant chip leader.
Flat,
Thank you
in
very
trouble.
much. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So who's
9
gonna win?
outs
Can you
for
predict?
I don't know.
Yosifov.
That I don't know.
I like my hand.
It's the better hand.
They're both
I would like your
hands.
hand too,
They're both
sir.
very good hands.
They're both hands.
Stam is
We shouldn't be
65%
getting
to
into
hold here.
that kind of hand.
That's debatable.
Ace of clubs on the turn. That is clean for David Stamm. He needs to fade the 9 outs that you see on your screen on the river card here. A jack, an 8, or a 6. It is the queen of hearts, and David Stamm is going to double up.
Alrighty then. Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to myself.
Yeah, beautiful run out for him, Donnie. As clean as it gets.
Yeah, never super confident putting your money in there.
Sure.
You know, understandably calling off, yes, but you're still like, oh, you know, I can lose a lot here. But he does fade, and up over 10 million goes David Stamm. Yosifov clipped back to just under 11 million.
Yes.
That puts Melson in the chip lead.
Really big momentum shift, isn't it, Donnie? All of a sudden, Stamm now basically joint second in chips.
Yeah, we'll see if it changes the strategy or the approach from Yosifov, who has been active. You know, he's been in there, he's been raising. He 3-bet the first hand with King 9 of spades. Like he certainly has been in there. So is he now where he falls back to second in chips? Is he going to slow down a little bit, take his foot off the gas? We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see. Melson going to be happy with this development. Of course, now out in front on his own. And we've seen that he's playing very aggressively. Going to be an adjustment for Yosifov.
How's it going?
That is a big hold,
Holy
Donnie.
shit,
Oh,
Edmonton
yes.
scored. Holy shit. Edmonton scored. Oh, baby.
Well, they're sweating the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs,
This is sick,
the
dude.
finals.
They were down 3-0. Now it's 3-2, and they're up 1-0. Remarkable.
Is it the playoff?
Donnie, at the risk
Stanley
of
Cup.
alienating a huge chunk of the
Who
audience.
scored?
American sports. I struggle. I struggle, my friend. I'm gonna need.
I mean,
I'm gonna
it's
need you
okay.
to take me under your wing.
All the Americans struggle with European sports, so
I
it's
know
all good.
it's true. It's a draw overall.
But the NHL finals,
Right.
Edmonton Oilers are playing the Florida Panthers.
That's the Stanley Cup, right?
Yes.
Look at
And
me. Check me out.
Yeah.
The Florida Panthers, it's a series best of 7. The
Okay.
Florida Panthers won the first 3 games.
Oh wow. Okay.
Edmonton won the next game, so now it goes, they're back in Edmonton playing tonight. And if Edmonton wins this one, then they would go up 3-2.
So
I
they
believe.
have to win 4 straight, or it's over.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, I'm not saying I hate American sports, just for anyone out there. I don't understand them very well, Donnie.
Well, the
you see.
Euros are going on right now.
And that's it. You know, I'm a soccer man, so to speak.
Sorry, the series is 3-2. So if
Okay.
Edmonton wins this game, it goes to the deciding Game 7. So, I mean, it's pretty hard to blow a 3-0 lead.
Right.
You just got to win one game. I mean, but the Florida Panthers look like they're about to do it. So
They'll be feeling the pressure. Speaking of pressure, I believe we had an open from Melson, a defend from Hoy, and he has turned the second nut flush, Donnie.
yeah, Melson doing well to check back here, not get involved, just play this one a bit conservative here. 500K here on the turn from Hoy.
Pretty good recognition from Melson. You talked about it, Donnie. These guys have been playing for a long time on the outer tables as well. You can see these two have been battling. Very timely pickup for Hoy. Back up to 7.7 million in chips.
Couple of notable eliminations in this event before we reach this final 5-handed play here. We had Max Coleman go out in 6th place. Erlend Melson took him out. It was Melson's queens versus Coleman's 9s. And then speaking of 9s, Ben Hoy took out Yuri Reichenstein in 8th place. And then yesterday, former WSOP main event champion Martin Jacobson busted in 25th place, so he made a deep run in this tournament as well. I think it was 18,000 was the cash for Martin Jacobson.
Yeah, I know both Martin and Yuri. Played with both a bunch. Fierce competitors.
600K.
Yuri is somebody who is always on my list to draft for fantasy, and I never pull the trigger. And then every summer, I see the results, and I'm like, I should have pulled the trigger. And then I do the same thing every single year. So, my own punishment.
Speaking of pulling the trigger, I think Hoy that here does decide to call Donny with the 8s. Kind of close one pre, right? 25 blinds. Thought he may have considered to shove here against the button open, but does decide just to call. Gonna play it cagily.
Queen, queen, 3. Hoy's 8's still best here, but does have to play out of position against Yosifov, who is going to come with a bet here.
350K.
350, nice and small.
Yeah, again, these pair boards, pretty dry textures, just hoping to get Hoy to fold a hand like a king-jack suited or something like this with no backdoors. You can see, though, Hoy, a pretty strong disguised hand here, Donny, pocket 8s.
Makes the call. 2.5 million out there now.
Heads up.
Jack of spades on the turn.
Check.
Hoy checks.
Yeah, neither player thrilled with this card. Really tough, though, Donny, I think, for Yosifov to pull the trigger here.
Heads up.
Yep, and he does check behind. 9 on the river. Check mark goes to Hoy as long as he can get this one to a showdown.
Yeah, very interesting spot.
Would you prefer some sort of lead here, or
I think
like
we need
a blocker bet or something?
I think check is better here in terms of, you know, Yosifov, if he's turned something like a jack, which has decided to, you know, pot control and check back turn, or even a river 9 could occasionally look us up. You know, it feels like it's hard to get called by a worse hand, I think, and you might leave yourself open to being bluff raised.
So it did go check, check there, and I think Hoy said 8, which I think Yosifov was like, what do you mean 8? 1 8? 8 high? No, pocket 8, sir.
A little bit of a rocky start for Yosifov. Hasn't done a lot wrong, though, right?
I mean,
It's
he's
just
been
sort of
in there. He's been trying to win chips, just hasn't worked out for him.
hasn't had many favorable runouts. Been squeezed out of a few pots. It can be really frustrating, right? You know, when you've had all the chips, and you think, okay, well, I'm just gonna
cruise to victory.
I'm gonna get after it. Yeah, it's not always that easy, as we know well.
King Jack off for him here, so he's not gonna sit on the sidelines. He's still gonna get involved. In a way, he might even be looking at his cards like, I gotta race again. Like, can I just like, can I just chill and kind of, you know, catch my breath here? I mean,
sometimes
every time I get into a pot, I lose chips.
Yeah, like sometimes it does feel that way, right?
No, for sure, for sure.
And you're also opening now into the chip leader.
Yep.
He can lean on you.
And Melson he's not been one to back down. He's gonna fold here. Well, 7 deuce off. Understandable.
Mercifully for Yosifov, gets an easy one.
Sometimes it's good, as you know, just to pull in a pot. Even if it's just the blinds, just be like,
He sounds happy.
something going my way, you know.
Oh, it's the cigar guy. You know that guy?
Yeah.
He always has a stogie. You know him?
Who?
He always has a stogie.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're
Cuz,
talking
his name,
about
he always says cuz.
Steve
Calls
Buckner,
everybody.
a.k.a. Cuz. For some reason,
He's the loudest guy in the poker
screaming and yelling, and he's
Not louder
sweating
than
the
Huntington's
$10,000
Rail.
Raz final
Oh,
table.
no.
I have no idea what is so exciting at a Raz final table that has Cuz going nuts,
So crazy.
but Cuz is going nuts.
He's quite the character.
Oh,
That was
yes.
cool that he finally got one.
A lot of fun.
This bracelet.
Oh.
Had a hand.
Monster.
What was it?
So, I got to ask you.
Okay.
Folds to you in the big blind.
Yeah.
Do you look?
Never.
I don't ever look
Almost
either.
never. It's
For
just
those
like,
reasons.
graceful
If I'm the short
marginal
stack and I
line.
look down and I see aces, I'm going to lose my
Oh,
mind.
it's the worst.
And I might go on tilt. So I don't look. I'm like, nope, just put this in the muck. I probably had 7-3 off, no big deal.
I'm with you 100%. You know, you've already caught a nice break, right? You've been walked, you just rake in the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing good can come from it, right?
Nope.
Nothing good can come from looking at it. I'm with you.
I saw someone, I forget what the tournament was the other day, but they got a walk and they looked at one card and it was an ace.
Oh, no.
And then they just folded and they said, if it's a good card, I won't look at the second one. I was like, well,
Why are you
but
looking
now
at
you're
one?
like, now you're thinking of what if? what if the other one was an ace? You know, like then it's a whole different level of what could have happened here. King 4 of diamonds here for Schwartz. He's got 21 bigs to start this hand out of the small blind.
Raise.
That's a raise.
600K.
600K min raise.
Oh, wow. Here we go, Donnie.
Yes, speaking of aces in the big blinds. Yosifov. A very welcomed sight for him because, as Andrew has mentioned, the start of this final table has not gone his way, but he's going to love to find these aces.
Raise. 1.5 million.
Does make it 5 big blinds, 1.5 mil.
It's always tricky to play against a small blind min raise because it's kind of unconventional,
It
right?
really is.
You know, some people like to limp in. Of course, jamming is an option, or raising a little bit larger, like 3.5x, because you're going to have to play out of position so often. But here, Schwartz comes with the min raise, which, you know, this is gonna. It's gonna come down really to like what Yosifov knows of Schwartz. How is this guy playing? What has he been doing? Schwartz does give it up there. King 4 of diamonds. Could have been worse for him. He could have got his money in there with King 4 suited, you know.
100%, and I think if you limp there and the big blind ISOs, you feel very compelled that you have to continue, right?
And you have, you know, you have a suited king. It blocks some premiums. You know, it could be one of those hands where you want to limp jam it.
Yeah.
And you think a lot of times, even if you get called, I mean, I probably have a decent amount of equity anyway. But Schwartz does well there to fade disaster. Yosifov with that pot climbs back over 11 million.
Yeah, like it's almost like hidden run good, right? Like if we limp there, like you said, very likely to put more chips in the pot. Whereas, you know, we've decided we're going to min, and all of a sudden we've found a way to get away
I've seen
from it.
people just rip it there with king high. I mean,
sure.
I'm not saying that I would, but I certainly have seen 20 big blinds. You're like, all right, it's only you. I'm the shortest stack, so whatever, let's go.
Absolutely. Stranger things have happened.
Action here on Yosifov in the small blind. Jack 10 off, he limps in. Hoy's got 7-6 off in the big blind. Hoy out of Henderson, Nevada, so another local here. Him and Schwartz. Schwartz from Las Vegas, Hoy from Henderson. Checks back and just drills trips. 8-7-7.
What a dream. He's going to slow play it.
Check, 6 on the turn. Fills up Hoy. Yosifov now drawing dead, but he's going to stab at it here. 300,000, the minimum.
Yeah, really interesting. Yosifov deciding that when Hoy checks, probably expects him, Donnie, to bet a hand like an 8 very often on the flop for protection. He's going to start attempting to bluff here with Jack high. You know, get some queen highs and king highs potentially, just to fold the turn. Of course, Hoy sitting there with the effective nuts.
Ace on the river here, so Yosifov, a 9 would have been disaster if it comes off.
I have 9 million.
Yeah, he may feel compelled to bluff here, Donnie. Gonna know his hand is almost never good.
Yeah.
Maybe target a hand like a 6, right? Like a
No,
king high clubs, queen high clubs.
He's looking at his chips.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Tough to blame him.
500K.
500,000 is the wager. Third pot here. Hoy. Really good poker face, but he's doing cartwheels inside because he's just sitting there with a full house and you have one of the bigger stacks betting into you.
Yeah, loving life. Trying to decide what the right number is.
Raised to 2 million.
Wouldn't blame Yosifov for thinking to himself, what is going on here? I can't get anything to stick.
Gives it up. Just a little scratch of his head, like as Andrew mentioned. You know, what's going on? I mean, I can't figure this out. Hoy pulls that one in.
Really does just go that way sometimes. Really hasn't done anything inherently wrong whatsoever. You know, it's pretty tough to win, Donnie, when your opponent's sitting there with a slow played full house.
That group of railbirds there you saw behind Hoy, one of them, Hoy's fiance, Madison. She was wearing the Nike visor. I'm told they're getting married soon.
Oh.
And the women with her are the bridesmaids. They skipped the bachelorette party to come watch
No, they didn't.
Hoy at this final time. I mean, listen, that's a good reason to skip a bachelorette party, right? I mean,
what a great story.
and with the money that he's cashing for, he'll just send him on a new bachelorette party.
It's going to be even more lit. I believe the term is lit.
Yes, that's what the kids say these days.
Look at me pretending I'm cool.
I mean, I hope that's what the kids say. If not, we're dating ourselves. King 10 suited for Melson. Comes in with a raise. Action over to Hoy in the small blind. Queen 10 off. He could play this, you know, given the way we've seen him play so far. He flattered earlier in position with Queen Jack off, so.
I mean, yeah, this is.
Look at this.
Wow.
He's in there.
Kind of
Stamm
surprised.
with a couple of nines.
A little surprised at that peel. I think it's a bit wide, but you know, Stamm now. Pocket nines. Decision point, Donnie. Whether to ever squeeze this one. Pretty awkward, right, with the way the stacks are distributed.
Yeah, he's got 31 big blinds. He's also facing an under the gun open. It makes it a little bit more awkward because you would perceive it as kind of dead money in there with the with the flat from Hoy. I mean, it's not dead money, but you probably don't think Hoy has pocket jacks, pocket queen. You know, he's probably 3-betting those hands.
I'm with you. Yeah, all of a sudden, kind of attractive just to squeeze here. Like, Melson's going to be pretty wide, right? Hoy, as you said, Donnie, not perceived to have a very strong hand.
2.5 million.
Okay,
here we go.
Here it comes.
2.5, so pretty meaty here on the 3-bet from Stamm. Melson's out of the way, and I would guess Hoy follows suit. He does. Well done there from Stamm. Just elected to kick it up pre-flop and take it down, and he does. So Stamm climbs back up over 10 million with that pickup there. Melson still the chip leader on just under 14 million. Jonathan Schwartz, the current short stack, with 19 big blinds. Still plenty to work with for Schwartz, though.
It does feel like the next blind level is going to have a substantial effect here.
Yes.
We'll be going to 200, 400, right? So everyone going to sort of be around that 25 big blinds mark. There's always a tipping point, Donnie, where
at some point
there's less wiggle room.
Yeah, everyone usually gets down. I mean, that's how tournaments are. You get down to 15, 20 big blinds, and then it's just kind of a clash of hands in a lot of ways, you know.
Raise 600.
Boy here, staying aggressive. Jack 7 off on the button. Raises to 600K.
It's quite refreshing to see, you know, often at finals, you will see people, Donnie, play very tight, right? Like, sort of obey this ICM, whereas Hoy just looks like the type of dude who's like, you know what?
And even this.
Look at this for a defense.
Deuce off. I mean, I think Melson has very clearly been like, I'm the guy who's not going to be messed with, okay? 6, 5, 4. Interesting flop.
Sure.
Bottom pair and the bottom end of a straight draw for Melson. Hoy's got 2 overs. He's got backdoor diamonds with that jack of diamonds. He's open-ended with that 7. He was the pre-flop raiser. He comes with 500K.
Yeah.
Nelson always does that. Like, he kind of looks like he's going to fold, and then he calls anyway. So
Heads up.
tricky, tricky. Check call 500K. Ace on the turn.
Check.
Melson checks again.
Very interesting spot. Hoy with a diamond and a spade in hand. Makes it very interesting here, and he is going to continue to fire. Like the size in 2 million into 2.6.
Gets it done.
Very nice.
So many people these days, you know, they just kind of often call flops just because c-betting is so prevalent, right? So a lot of times it just kind of takes that second barrel like that, you know, to get things done. Put a little bit of extra pressure on people.
Yeah, this is great viewing for us. I must admit, I did not expect the Jack-7 open, and I did not expect the Deuce-4 defend, Donnie.
No, I did not either.
Yeah.
It's good, you know. As you mentioned, you know, it's better when people are just kind of sitting back, not really doing anything. It's better when people are getting involved. It's certainly much more entertaining for us here in the booth, also for everyone at home.
100%.
Who's tuning in. Hoy here, ace-8 off. Given that he opened the Jack-7 off on the button, I would expect ace-8 is going to be a raise from the cutoff, and it is 600K. Melson with an interesting ace-4 of diamonds. We've seen him attack before. He did that squeeze play from the small blind. He's going to call.
It's really interesting now. It's just so cagey, right? Like Melson and Hoy both basically joint chip lead. You don't really want to clash.
Yeah.
Does decide on just call. It's really tricky to navigate, right, with the way these chips are. Everyone's kind of bunched together.
Yeah, and given where Schwartz is too, I mean, if you're Hoy or if you're Melson, Stamm, or Yosifov, any of those 4 players, I mean, you don't want to essentially torch your equity, you know?
Oh.
Wow. Huge flop here for Melson. 10-8 deuce, all diamonds, so he flops the nut flush. Middle pair for Hoy. He was the pre-flop raiser, so we'll see if he's going to get attack, and yes, he is. 500K. Kind of a nonchalant, just flick in 1 chip there.
I know, it's like a home game almost.
Yeah. Melson with his own flick in.
Heads up.
6 of hearts on the turn.
Looks to be considering leading here.
Certainly taking his time.
Yeah, and he
he's
is going to lead.
Bet. 1.3 million.
1.3 into 2.8.
Very non-standard line. You know, in general, and from my perspective, you will just see people go ahead and check it over here. Try and let your opponent keep betting. This could confuse Hoy. You know, difficult to give our opponent too many nutted hands. I think, you know, is he going to have 7-9 suited in here out of the small? Kind of repping a hand. Like, not too many 2 pairs, Donnie, right? Like an 8-6 suited, 10-6 suited, and yeah. Hoy deciding that this smells a little fishy. We can see he's drawing dead. Big river incoming.
4 of hearts. Melson with that nut flush. 5.4 million out there.
He's doing a pretty good acting job, I gotta say. He looks nervous. Sitting there with the nuts.
See what sort of sizing. That looks pretty chunky there. 3.5. Yep, 3.5 million.
A huge decision for Hoy.
Got the chips in his hand to make the call, which tells me he's thinking about being a non-believer here. It is, as you mentioned, kind of an unorthodox line
really
with the double lead on the turn and river there. So Hoy with kind of enough of showdown value that he can pick off some bluffs here. You know, what's he got? Does he just have maybe like the ace of diamonds? He's coming with the bluff, or
yeah, like a hand like a king jack with one diamond, king queen
would
with
he
a
play a
diamond.
10 like this? So it kind of
yeah.
feels like nuts or nothing
That's
in a lot of ways.
It really does. I was trying, you know, on the turn to think, what are the value combos? Like pocket sixes maybe? Like with a diamond, right? Improves to a set and doesn't want his opponent to check back. Something like this. Not too many two pairs or straights. I think you're right. Feels like nuts or nothing. Understandable that Hoy is taking a long time here. Critical moment in this tournament.
He is going to
Well
think better of
done.
it. Look at that. Disciplined fold there. Almost got a little bit tricked up, but Hoy ultimately gets out of harm's way. Did lose some money on the turn, but saved disaster without calling that river bet. Melson collects a nice pot there, up to 15.5 million.
He is spicy. I feel like I might have called there, Donnie, and I can see he had the nut flush.
Yeah.
It was a very, it was a very confusing.
I know you have
very
it, but I'm
confusing
calling
hand.
anyway.
Yeah, it's just very confusing. Nice laydown from Hoy. I would have been confused for sure.
It's going to be one of those ones where Hoy's going to be like, you know what, in a half hour, whatever the delay
Someone
is, can you
needs
guys
to
tell
tell
me
me.
what the heck that was going on there? Because I got no idea.
Yeah, those ones are curious.
I do need to mention to everyone out there who is watching that in a couple of minutes, we have a very special offer for all of our viewers. So stay tuned. I'll let you guys know exactly what that is. Melson here with a raise. Queen, 8 of clubs.
Yeah, tricky for Yosifov.
Yeah, second pair.
He's going to make the call.
Whenever the stream starts, can you check?
10-6-3, 1 club, couple of hearts. Yosifov checks. $550,000 is the bet from Melson. Third pot.
Oh, wow.
Yosifov's turn to be a little bit of a non-believer. At least thinking this one over.
These guys are sticky.
I mean, you love to see it. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys are all here to play. I mean, it's great. Yosifov calls, drills
what a
the
card.
ace on the turn. It's the ace of clubs, though. Queen 8 of clubs for Melson. Could certainly see him just checking back here, just trying to take that equity. Could certainly see him continuing to barrel off as well. This is the type of card, you know, he could also represent.
Sure.
You know, we
Yeah.
can, of course, see that Yosifov is the one that has the ace in this hand.
Does feel like one of those cards that the aggressor feels compelled to barrel. Is going to go for it.
And even if he does get called, he's got equity in the flush draw that he feels fine with it. So 1.5 million from Melson.
Yeah, Yosifov with a somewhat disguised ace in his hand. Of course, going to have hands like ace-6, Donnie, ace-3 that are, you know, going to be in his range. Unlikely Melson gives him like ace-5 with, you know, no heart in hand.
There is the call from Yosifov, so very important river card here. Queen of Hearts. Yosifov's pair of aces is best. Third heart does come in. I guess there's the there's the surprise. So PokerGo has a 15-minute flash sale right now for the next 15 minutes. Sign up for a new annual sub to PokerGo.com. Use the promo code YT15. Get $20 off your first year plus $20 store credit on a $100 purchase or more. That was check on the river, so we didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
As expected, check. Melson does pick up the showdown value with the queen. Third heart comes in. He's not going to bet at it, so check there. But yes, for those of you who want what is currently our best offer, you can go over to PokerGo.com and you can sign up for a new annual plan, promo code YT15, but it's only available for the next 15 minutes. That's the catch. It's 7 o'clock here in Vegas, so they're shutting off this offer at 7:15.
I mean, it's a good offer. The clock is ticking, folks.
Yeah.
Get to your laptop. Let's go. Scoop that value.
600,000.
Raise 600.
Stamm here, 600K. Taylor Kent said, what if I've been a subscriber for years? If you've been a subscriber, you can upgrade. If you're a monthly or quarterly subscriber, you can upgrade using the promo code YT15. Get the same offer. It does apply to upgrades. It also does apply to new subscribers. Hoy gives it up in the big blind, shoots those chips over to Stamm, who collects the pot.
Please.
Very, very tight race up at the top of the leaderboard. Melson, 12.85 million, just ahead of Yosifov, who's just ahead of Stamm. Schwartz still the short stack here. He's working on an even 5 million.
Yeah, Stamm being the big mover at this final, came in as the short stack when we began our coverage. He's kind of quietly gone about his business, right? Just moseying on up to basically joint chip lead.
Melson here, very pretty looking, ace queen suited. Comes in with a raise, makes it 600K. Action over to Stamm in the big blind, 10-7 off. He gives it up and Melson takes that one. As a reminder, PokerGo is currently running a flash sale, but it's going to end in 13 minutes. Use the promo code YT15 over at PokerGo.com. When you sign up for a new annual subscription, you're going to save $20 off the full price for your first year. So $99.99 will become $79.99, which is less than $7 a month. And you will also get a $20 store credit to the PokerGo shop, shop.pokergo.com, on any purchase of $100 or more. That is the current flash sale. It is only running for the next 11 minutes and change till 7:15 here in Vegas. It is a flash sale. It is our first ever flash sale. Hopefully I'm not butchering the promo read because I just found out about this today.
And like $7 a month, Donnie, that's value. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
to
I
watch
mean,
high
listen,
stakes, high class poker every month, every week.
Our regulars in the out there on YouTube, PokerGo, or wherever you're watching, have heard me say before that it's great value. And it's hard because I'm the company guy.
Right.
But I was a PokerGo subscriber before I joined PokerGo. I will probably be a PokerGo subscriber after I leave PokerGo if that ever happens. It is good value. I look at it personally. You know, I have the annual plan. If I were to spend $99.99, or if you want to use the promo code YT15 right now until 7:15 here in Vegas, you can save yourself $20. But is that money alone is like worth it to just buy a pay-per-view for the main event alone, and then you get all this other stuff all year round. You know, like I look at it like if you were to buy a UFC fight or whatever it is, you pay $80, $100, whatever it is. You watch one night of that fight.
600,000.
Similar sort of thing. So that's how I look at it, you know. And listen, all of us have Netflix, Hulu, ESPN, all these friggin', I have like 85 different subscriptions because my kids want to watch 19 different things. My wife wants to watch 35 different things. They're all on different channels, all on different services. So that's just the world we live in, okay?
Can I get some greens from somewhere?
Yeah. You know, this part's good.
Yeah, it sure is. And you know, if you're just a casual viewer, or if you like, I mean, you can learn a lot, right, from watching these streams. So
You can definitely learn a lot.
it caters for all levels.
Daniel Negreanu talks about it all the time. One of the best ways to learn from some of the best players in the game is simply to watch them play, see what they're doing, try and understand why they're doing it, and then hopefully put it into play in your own game. That's one of the best things that I've always felt being in the commentary booth, is that I'm able to watch this stuff all the time.
100%.
You know, you're able to watch guys in high pressure situations, some of the best players in the world over and over. So it's great for me. I love, you know, watching as much as I can when I'm not in the commentary booth. So yeah.
Yeah, the cards up coverage is game changing, absolutely. What I like to do, Donnie, is see what the best players in the world are doing and then try to apply it and fail miserably.
Yeah,
but you know, I do my best.
That's what we all do.
Yeah.
We fail miserably. For some reason, these guys have it figured out.
I'm like, I saw, you know, Phil Ivey 3-bet King 5 off from the big the other day.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And then
they're
know,
just going to 4-bet you.
And then Chad from Minnesota sticks it in my eye, and I'm like, thanks, Phil.
I mean,
Appreciate
the
you.
one that I saw was the what tournament was it? Was it the 5K? I can't remember, but it Johan Gilbert versus Antonio Galeana when he like 5-bet bluffed or whatever on,
that
on
was
the river of the flush
insanity.
board.
Yeah.
And it's like, whenever I do that, they have they have a straight flush. They don't even have the nut flush, they just have a straight flush. When I try something crazy like that, they just have it, okay?
You're like, I'm
Never
gonna
works
look
for
like
me.
a genius here.
Yeah.
For sure, it's going to work.
Everyone says I should 4-bet jam ace-5 suited. Yeah, well, when I do it, they have kings, and I don't win,
Don't
okay?
even talk to me about it. Uh-oh. Potential clash.
Yeah, Stamm here with a raise. Pocket sixes. Yosifov in the small blind. A couple of 10s here.
It's actually unreal how cagey this really is, you know, for these 3 big stacks especially. Like, Yosifov, for chips, is just going to want to get this in, Donnie, most likely 5-handed. But you really are put under that awkward situation where if you bust now, it really is a disaster. So he's going to play it slowly, just make the call pre. And that brings in Hoy with the 6-7 out of the big blind.
3 ways here. 10. King,
I'm
7.
first. Sorry.
And 10 in the win. I think Hoy might have checked out of turn there. Set of 10s for Yosifov. Action does check over to Stamm. He was the pre-flop raiser.
Yosifov been waiting for something positive. Flops middle set.
Checks around here. Ace on the turn. Let's see if Yosifov wants to start building a pot here. 2.1 million out there.
Yeah, gonna still be very comfortable here with that set of 10s.
1.2.
You called it, Donnie. Is gonna go ahead and lead here from the small.
Hoy's out of the way. Stamm also out of the way. Yosifov's going to collect that one. And with that pot, he's back into the chip lead. For everyone watching out there who would like a PokerGo.com subscription, we are currently running a flash sale right now for the next 6 or 7 minutes. It's 7:08 here in Las Vegas. The flash sale ends at 7:15 p.m. Vegas time. Head on over to PokerGo.com. Sign up for a new annual subscription, or if you are a monthly or quarterly subscriber, you can upgrade to a new annual subscription. Use the promo code YT15.
For a minute.
That's
200 this hand.
YT15. That'll get you $20 off your first year, plus a $20 store credit to PokerGo shop when you spend $100 or more.
And then it's
Currently, our
250,
best offer.
After? Yeah.
So get in there before it runs out. Again, that is only being offered
250,
for the next few minutes,
Alright, thank
and then we're shutting it off. We're closing up shop. They have not told me if this is ever going to run again. I'm just telling you guys that. I'm being dead serious with you. I'm 100% honest. I found out about this offer maybe 3 hours ago, and I was told it only runs from 7 to 7:15. So get in there.
I think you're an honest man, Donnie.
I mean, that's
You've
the thing.
never lied to me,
These
as far as I know.
These people don't need to believe me. But if I don't believe in something, I won't promote it.
I know that.
I just
know
won't.
that.
I won't do it.
Yeah.
Yosifov
Spot
here. Yeah, blinds are up 200K, 400K. Yosifov makes it 800K with ace 5. Hoy has a better ace, ace 9 suited, and he 3-bets out of the small blind. Looks like 2 million, which is a pretty small 3-bet here.
Yeah.
I mean, Yosifov could easily just call. I mean, he's getting a great price. He's got to call 1.2 million. There's 3.6 out there.
Yeah, interesting. Typically a spot that you will just see the small blind either 3-bet shove, Donnie, or call. And he's landed in the middle, deciding to go for sort of try and rep the real strength, right? Makes it 2 million, very small as you referenced. Try and rep a real value hand. Problem with that is you do open yourself up to get rebluffed.
And this also probably looks a bit confusing, puzzling to
100%.
Yosifov. He's like, what is this? Look, and he's gonna fold. Correctly so. I mean, he was dominated there. And that looked like a lot of value. Well done by Hoy there. Pulls that pot in.
Yeah, that really polarized sizing, you know, sort of saying I have, you know, jacks plus, queens plus here, or I'm bluffing. Yosifov did look as if he was a little skeptical, but nicely done from Hoy, gets that one through. We have seen quite a few sort of quote-unquote non-standard plays on this final.
I mean, that's
keeping us on our toes.
That's the beauty of poker.
Yeah.
Everyone can do whatever the heck they want. Ace king offsuit for Yosifov here.
Raise 800.
Stamm finds an ace jack off from the small blind.
Yeah, really interesting. Working with around about 27, 28 big blinds. Of course, this sort of dicey ICM situation that we were referencing earlier.
2,500,000.
2.5 million, the announced 3-bet from Stamm. These spots are particularly tricky because of how active Yosifov is.
100%.
And Stamm knows that. Like, this guy has been in there raising a lot.
This seems like a very reasonable spot to go ahead and 3-bet.
So we have a stat screen here in the commentary booth. The VPIP from Yosifov is 45%, and he's at a 30% pre-flop raise.
Yeah.
Certainly aggressive here, as he should be coming in as the chip leader. He stayed on the gas. But chip leaders, you know, big stacks, they can also pick up hands. And there's the jam from Yosifov. David Stamm is going to give it up.
And just a case of unfortunate timing. I actually really like it from Stamm. You know, it doesn't feel great to sort of 3-bet fold a hand as strong as ace-jack, but out of position on a final table against an aggressive player. Just unfortunate timing for him.
Certainly.
Yosifov has stemmed the flow. You know, there was some rocky waters, Donnie, in the early going at this final, but now, all of a sudden, back up to 16 million.
Yeah, doing very well. For a little bit there, as you mentioned, it kind of looked like it might just all slip away from him. It just wasn't going his way. One more time, I'm going to mention the PokerGO flash sale because we have 1 minute left to go over to PokerGO.com and get it. Head on over to PokerGO.com and take advantage of the flash sale by signing up for a new annual subscription. You can join as a new subscriber, or you can upgrade if you are a monthly or quarterly subscriber. Use the promo code YT15 to save $20 on your first year of a new annual plan. Plus, you can get a $20 credit to the PokerGO shop on a purchase of $100 or more. That is ending at 7:15 p.m. local time. We have just about a minute left for you to head over to PokerGO.com and get it. Hoy here comes in with a raise, 800,000. Stamm hits him with the 3-bet, ace-4 of spades, up to 2.3 million.
Yeah, going for back-to-back 3-bets. You can see he is bluffing here also. Not going to get this one through. Hoy been very sticky at this FT. He's going to make the call. Stamm now would just pop behind.
10-5 deuce with 1 spade out there. Hoy whiffs. He does have the best of it, but he doesn't connect here. Stamm, the aggressor with the pre-flop 3-bet, excuse me.
As flops go, this one pretty good for the ace-4 of spades to have that gut shot to the wheel. Backdoor nut flush draw, gonna take a free card.
King of diamonds here on the turn. Hoy is still best with the ace-jack high. 5.6 million out there. Playing about a 1-to-1 SPR with the stack size of Stamm. Hoy checks.
Yeah, very interesting. You know, typically this king should be good for Stamm's range, and he is gonna go ahead, Donnie, and rep it.
Yeah, I mean, this is good recognition here from Stamm. Well done by him.
Very nice. Gets Hoy to quickly fold the best hand. Really impressed with Stamm. He's not scared. You had said to me when I arrived, one to watch.
Yeah, I think he's somebody who has worked on his game a lot. He's certainly, I think, comfortable in the moment in this sort of setting, being at a final table, and has shown really good card sense overall, good instincts. You know, kind of knows, like, okay, this is a spot where I should be doing this, or I should be doing that, and he's followed through with it. So, good on Stamm so far. It's been impressive. He's up to 11.4 million now. Hoy, couple of kings. That's going to be a pretty sight.
Raise 800.
Goodness me, they could be going at it again.
Stamm ace 10 off.
2,500,000.
And there it is. The third hand in a row he's elected to 3-bet. This time, he's going to run into it once again. He ran into it on the first one. He ran into the ace-king of Yosifov. The last one he won. Here, Hoy sitting there with a couple of kings. Waste little time in going all in. That ace-10's in the muck for Stamm.
They're good hands, but not good enough to call it all in.
The bachelorette party looks a little glum, Donnie.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Marriage isn't that bad, is it?
No, you're married, right?
Not yet.
Oh, you're not married?
I'm engaged.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's all downhill after you get married.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
That's what they say. I've been married, and it's amazing. I mean, listen, Hoy's making $132,000. They need to go get some drinks or something.
I know, right?
You know, he can pay for it. He'll tip the
It was
the
a little
server.
sedate on the rail. Not even one like woo Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas, baby.
I mean, listen, watching, it's one thing to watch a live stream. It's another thing to watch live poker in person.
Sure.
That is, if you don't know poker very well, it's very hard to watch.
It's a
'Cause
grind.
You don't see any of the hands.
You don't see anything,
Unless
yeah.
there's a bunch of all-ins, as we see right here.
Here's one.
Schwartz on the button. He's down to 3.2 million. He moves it all in with a couple of sixes. This should get through. It does. Good little pickup for him.
One thing I will say. Have you ever been on a British rail?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been on one, but I've seen them plenty. PokerGo's newest plan in here. I talked about the flash sale about 5 minutes ago. That's done. But if you do want to become a PokerGo VIP, head on over to PokerGo.com. PokerGo has partnered with Run It Once. You see them on their screen right there. Phil Galfon, Jason Kuhn, and Daniel Cates. You can upgrade to a PokerGo VIP subscription where you will get access to at least 100 Run It Once videos that are now on the PokerGo platform, so you can watch and learn like never before. But about the British rails,
yeah,
I've missed them in recent years. It seems like they used to be like they were doing shoe bombs out there, like just the works, right? Constant chanting, all that sort of stuff. The British rails just haven't been the same anymore.
You think?
I just don't think so.
I'm gonna have to rally the troops.
You're gonna
for
have to
later
rally
in
the
this
troops.
summer.
I just remember when you would get like a Mormon,
Yeah.
or I don't even J.P. Kelly, like all you know
Yeah.
the kind of the older British people, like not older but older generation. But, you know, they would come play. Again, shoe bombs, just nonstop chanting. It was nuts. It was kind of like them versus the Brazilians. Who would ever have the better rail? But a lot of those British players don't play as high of a volume as they do now, so therefore you don't see them at the final tables like you once did.
The problem is it's all like wheatgrass smoothies and kale salads now.
Exactly.
I don't know what happened.
People
I
are
don't know
out
what
here,
happened, but
they're
you know.
wearing nose strips at the
I
table.
know.
They're doing yoga. It's like, guys, let's go. Put a beer in a shoe and chug the damn
Yes.
thing.
In Scotland, we tell people to grow up. You see, that's what we say. Grow up,
Let's
get
go.
a Jaeger bomb, get a
Let's
beer. Let's get after it. We need to teach the younger generation.
Yes.
I'm going to rally the troops, don't worry. Blind on blind here, limped pot heads up. Hoy out flopping Stamm. These two been mixing it up. Quickly checks. Stamm just jack high, no spade in hand. The unappetizing prospect is going to check back.
Ace of diamonds here on the turn. Still just that pair of deuces, best for Hoy.
Yeah, going to try and take it to showdown. Very difficult here for Stamm to credibly rep too many ace-X. He's going to have some, though. Some of the middling to weaker ones going to want to check back here and not put their tournament life under too much duress. Through to the 7 of Hearts River. Hoy with the best of it. Stamm knows he can't win the pot, Donnie, without bluffing at it.
Yeah, minimum bet here, 400K. Let's see if it works. And it does.
Very nice.
Stamm continues to show very good card sense overall, really good feel for where he's at in all hands.
Yeah, he's played great. You know, it's very easy there, right? You've been snake bitten a few pots in a row just to give up on that one, but just recognizing I can get this through. Represent a hand like a 7. Wants to go for a little value. Well done.
For those of you who may be tuning in late, excuse me. This is the event number 49, final table here at the 2024 World Series of Poker. $3,000 buy-in, freeze-out tournament, which is something you don't see too often in poker these days. 1,252 entries. They are down to the final 5.
We've hardly
My name is Donnie Peters. I am joined by Andrew Headley. This final table is being broadcast on PokerGo.com, on the PokerGo YouTube channel, and select fast channels, including Pluto TV. If you are with us on the PokerGo YouTube channel, we don't ask for much. The only thing that I usually ask for is like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's really it. Takes a couple of clicks. Throw us a little virtual currency that way. It allows us to tell our bosses, hey, these people like these free streams. We need to do more of them. So if you would be so kind, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Limped pot here, another blind on blind. King, Jack, 9 with a couple of clubs. Both players whiffing.
Yeah, not much going on for either player. Stamm, though, let's have that 10 of clubs working for him in hand.
400.
Gonna go ahead and take a stab. Melson just 8 high, nothing to work with. Yeah, it's a real pleasure to be here with you, Donnie. Enjoying it very much.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you, my friend.
I had to go solo yesterday, so I'm happy to have someone.
Solo is difficult. It's difficult. Credit to you, you were telling me it was fine. I actually really struggle. I like having someone to bounce ideas off, you know, keep the energy up.
It's good when the play is good.
Okay.
And yesterday was the $1,500 Monster Stack final table, and there was a lot of action. So that's good. Had it been, you know, a much more dry final table without much
Sure.
action, then, you know, I might have just like hit the mute button or something and left. I have no idea.
Raise 800.
Yeah, it's great to be here. I'm very excited. I'm like a kid at Christmas. First WSOP broadcast for myself. So really honored to be here with you. You see Yosifov, ace-jack of diamonds, back at it. Makes it 800K to go.
I feel like Hoy, I know he folded there, but I feel like he always wants to play.
He does,
You know,
he
like
does.
he wants to get involved, which many of us do when we play poker. That's why we sit down and we play, because we want to get involved in hands.
Tough not to feel a little sorry for Schwartz. Of course, we can't feel too sorry for him. He's still sitting there, but he really has been dealt out
You
of
can
this
see him
final
right there,
table.
just kind of shaking his head like, I don't really have anything to
Super
work with.
frustrating.
On the last rotation, when it was his button, he did move all in with sixes and
Right.
picked up the blinds and ante to be able to survive another round. But
That's been about it, right?
yeah, he's
Really
back
has.
to 3.4 million. Not really much is going his way.
Oh, sorry.
As we know, things can change quickly. One thing he's got going for him, you know, with the stack distributions, if he doubles up twice, he's basically in the chip lead. But it doesn't feel that way when you're getting dealt out hand after hand after hand, of course. Stamm finds the big one. Ladies, the cutoff.
It's 2-4, right?
Yes.
800,000.
800.
Min raise here with those queens. Yosifov finds an ace-5 off in the big blind. Yosifov is the chip leader. There's the defend. So heads up here between Yosifov and Stamm. 2.2 million out there. Ooh, ace, 9, 7. Top pair for Yosifov, out flopping those queens of Stamm.
Yeah, potentially dangerous waters for Stamm. See how he elects to proceed here post-flop.
500,000.
How much?
500.
It's going to
500.
feel like he's going to have the best hand still the majority of the time, it's fair to say. Comes in with a small bet, around about a quarter pot. Makes a lot of sense.
Can definitely get some value from the 9s and 7s
Sure.
that are out there. Any sort of straight draw combinations can charge those. 10 here on the turn, 10 of diamonds.
Check.
Yosifov still best, he checks.
Yeah, that 10 of diamonds, of course, does complete a couple of straight draws. Going to bring in the additional backdoor diamond flush draw on the turn. Decision on Stamm.
Check.
Going to try and take this one to a clean river, Donny, and then decide how to proceed.
9 pairs the board. We can see that Yosifov has the check mark here if this goes to showdown. 3.2 million out there.
Yeah, interesting spot for him. Not really the type of hand, you know, with the ace-5 that you want to put a whole load of money into the pot, I think it's fair to say. And yeah, he's decided on a little block bet.
Milky, milky, milky.
Stamm knows it. Shade over 10% pot from Yosifov. Stamm trying to ask himself here, Donny, what type of hands are going to want to do this that I beat? You know, maybe a hand like a 10-8, like
Yeah, 10-8,
a 10
Jack
could
10,
bet-
stuff like that, you know.
yeah, for sure. A 10 could bet one big blind.
That probably
This
thinks it
hand's no
has
good.
decent enough showdown
Very
value and wants to
nice
get there.
lay down.
Yeah, that's a good lay down there, especially with the price that
Right.
Stamm was getting. Well done there. A lot of people, probably myself included, would have just flicked in the
I would have
400K
flicked
and been
in.
like,
I would have flicked in for sure.
in the very least, I want to see what you have.
Yeah. Stamm really has impressed me. Played very well. You know, he's gone for the 3-bet folds and correctly folded when jammed on. Like how he's playing.
Yosifov up to 17.5 million now.
Yeah, he's feeling it now. Finding that momentum.
35% of the chips in play for him. We've been five-handed throughout the entire day. These players are guaranteed $132,000. There is $523,000 up top and the coveted World Series of Poker gold bracelet. Fourth place worth $180K, so about a $47,000, $48,000 pay jump on the line right now, but no one has wanted to go home yet. There was one all-in call with Stamm versus Yosifov. Stamm doubled up. A couple of shoves here and there, but other than that, it's been a lot of raising, a lot of flop battling, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we've sort of been in that holding pattern, haven't we, of waiting for someone to announce themselves and pull away from the pack, and Yosifov starting potentially to make that move up to his peak for this final, 18.3 million in chips.
There we see the stack of Jonathan Schwartz, the shortest stack remaining. I think that's a little giraffe figurine that is toppled over on the top of his chips. Melson here, he's been quiet as of late, but he's going to speak here with the ace-king off. Comes in with a raise, makes it 800,000. Action over to Hoy in the small blind.
Now, you can never rule anything out with this man, but he is out of the way this time.
Stamm's got an 8-5 off. Into the muck that goes, and Melson takes that one. These final 5 players came from a field of 1,252 entries. More than $3.3 million in the prize pool in this freeze-out event.
After this hand.
This is event number 49 on the WSOP schedule for 2024. 99 live gold bracelet events, so just about the halfway point.
Wow, we're already halfway.
We are already halfway. It's June 21st. We're going to be going through July 17th. That'll be the final day. That's when the WSOP main event champion is crowned.
It's exciting.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is the best tournament series in the world. There's not a better place to be.
You know, I must say I've played a lot of poker in my time, but nothing gets you excited like the main event.
Oh, it's the best thing. You gonna be in there this year?
I'm in there, of course.
Let's go.
Try and do better. I did manage to cash it last year for the first time.
There you go.
I made the end of day 4. We'll try and beat that this year. Stand with the decision here, Donnie.
100,000.
Yeah. He's going for it again. Credit to him.
Yeah, Stamm has not been one to shy away from any spots that have presented themselves. And here he is attacking again, and it just so happens to be against Yosifov, who he has attacked before. Yosifov has the king-9 here. Made it 800 to go. That 3-bet is 2.1 million from Stamm. Yosifov gives it up, and Stamm gets that one through. Up to 9.6 million now, sitting third in chips, just ahead of Hoy. Yosifov still the chip leader, 17.5 million for him.
Thank you.
Yeah, quite interesting. We've seen a couple of times now, once Hoy and then Stamm decide on the non-all-in sort of 3-bet strategy. With hands I think that you would typically see people jam, like the ace-9 of diamonds for Hoy, certainly. And Stamm there with queen-jack suited, 20 blinds.
Well, let me ask you, I mean, how tricky is it?
It is tricky.
With the stack of Schwartz? You know,
really, really tricky, yeah. Like
he's sub 10 big blinds, he's sitting on 8 big blinds over there, so you don't want to blow up your equity, you know?
100%. But it's one of these sort of, it's a fine line, right? Like when we make this very small size of 20 blinds, we're saying we have a really big hand, right?
Yep.
And it is tricky, like if Yosifov adjusts and starts, you know, if the information filters back to him, oh, these guys are 3-bet folding here. It's tricky, it's definitely tricky. I'm with you though. What did you say, 47,000 is the next pay jump?
Yeah.
47K?
The difference between
It always changes.
132,000 right now, 180,000,
changes.
so about $48,000.
Yeah.
Which is
I guess it should happen quick though.
quite a big jump, you know.
Oh, really big.
9-4. 10.
Schwartz still just can't find anything to get his money in with. He's now down to 2.4 million. I mean, he's really just going to be trying to find something, put his money in, hope for the best of it, hope to double up. But he hasn't found anything. And also, it's like there's been a lot of raising in front of him. Like he doesn't even really have a spot. So let's see if he can find something here.
Yeah, we really can't fault him. Just dealt out. Does sometimes happen that way. Gonna need something within the next orbit, you would imagine. Try and get back into this.
Here we go.
And there it is.
Ace-8 off. That's enough for Jonathan Schwartz, the local man out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Yosifov's got 7-2 off. So into the muck it goes. And
more often.
listen, that's a meaningful pickup.
Oh, it's
for
huge.
Schwartz. He's back up to 3.2 million. So 8 big blinds is what he's working with.
Yeah, basically chipping up a third of his stack there. Non-showdown. Never a bad result.
Melson's got ace-10 off.
Raise
800,000 from him. Schwartz is back to horrible cards. Yosifov with a couple of 7s here.
Yeah, really interesting decision point. Melson, blinds the way they are now, 30 bigs deep. 7s is that type of hand. We don't want to 3-bet fold it, Donnie. Shove seems like a little much with the situation at hand. So it does land on call. Once again, brings in Hoy from the big. Very playable looking 10-8 of clubs.
3-ways once again. We've seen a few 3-way flops here. King 10-3 with 2 clubs. So
check.
Hoy flops pair of 10s with the flush draw. Melson's pair of 10s is better with that ace kicker. Action checks around. Ace of clubs on the turn. Hello, action card. 2 pair now for Melson, who was the pre-flop raiser. Hoy turns a club flush. Action is on Yosifov here. He does have that 7 of clubs, and no one looked like they wanted anything to do with this flop. So, all right, he's going to check it. Let's see how Hoy wants to proceed. 2.8 million out there. Shoots a look over to Melson.
Potential disaster looming for Melson, turning that 2 pair. Hoy's just going to fire right at it. And he's gone big. Looks like 2.1, 2.2 million.
Melson can probably, rule out ace-king, of course. So probably.
What a brilliant fold
Wow.
that is.
What a fold.
Was about to reference to you.
I mean, that's incredible.
I mean, it's one of these spots when Hoy just bombs out here. Like, what are his main bluffs? Needs to be like the queen of clubs pair, jack of clubs pair with nothing else to go with them.
It's hard for him to have just one ace because you have an ace.
Right.
So, I mean, he can certainly have queen jack there for sure. So that's a straight, and then you're drawn to a full house. So that's really good discipline there.
That's a
from
fantastic
Melson.
laydown, regardless.
Also, probably crossed his mind. Okay, if I call here, what am I going to be faced with on the river?
Sure.
If it comes like the 4 of diamonds, what the heck am I going to do? I'm kind of in no man's land. So I really like that from Melson.
I mean, that is a brilliant laydown. Certainly a spot that feels kind of underbluffed. Like, I was trying to think of likely bluffs in my mind. It's mostly the queen of clubs, jack of clubs types. Like, is Hoy really just going nuts there with the queen of clubs 9? Like queen of clubs 10 kind of holdings. Credit to Melson, though, to just quit. And he folded very quickly. Very quick laydown.
Raise 800.
Might define his tournament. Brilliantly done.
Here we see Hoy attacking from the small blind. Ace-3 off against David Stamm in the big blind, who finds a king-7.
2 million.
Wow, he's just... Stamm is relentless. Love to see it.
It's great to see. It really is. He has not backed down at all. Kicks it up to 2 million here, and Yes, it's good. Folds to you in the small blind. You look down and see an 8.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
I was going to say the ace-3 off now shrinks in size when you get hit with the 3-bet, but Hoy says, listen, sir, you got it, you got it. He's all in.
Goodness me. Credit where it's due.
I mean, this is
Yeah,
just
yeah,
tremendous
Yeah.
poker being played right now. A lot of fun, supremely entertaining.
It's a fantastic watch.
Stamm here 3-bet to 2 million. He's got 7.2 million behind. This is kind of a little bit of posturing.
Yeah, he's not thinking
a little
call
bit
here,
of,
is
you
he?
know, just let me make sure I'm not priced in. Just let me get a count, that sort of thing. You also don't want to just let your opponents know that you're just going to 3-bet snap fold, you know.
Yeah, gotta be a little frustrated. That's, you know, 2 or 3 times now that he has been 4-bet ripped on. Very long tank.
There is the fold. And Hoy takes that one, chips up to 13 million. Stamm left with 7.2 million. There's the crowd.
There's the
There they are.
bachelorette party.
Yeah, they must have went and got some drinks.
These guys are playing fast, right? Like that happened real quick.
Oh yeah.
Come on, ladies, go and get some drinks. That's a cool story, though. Like if Hoy wins this comp, you know, send
Yeah.
your lady off on an upgraded.
For those who might have missed it, the woman in the Nike visor is Hoy's fiance. Her name is Madison. So they're getting married. Those are her bridesmaids alongside her. They skipped the bachelorette party at Lake Mojave to come here and watch Hoy at this final table.
300.
We love to see it.
That is pretty awesome, to be fair.
Yosifov with a raise, king 9 off.
I wonder if the rest of the girls are like, oh, really? Or if they're like, nah, no worries, we'll support you.
I mean, if you just say, listen, he's going to pay for everything afterwards, so just
Okay.
come on down. Nelson's going to defend,
I know.
9-8 off.
I don't know, like a bachelorette party. That's expensive. That's an expensive endeavor.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's going to get more expensive now. I mean, he's got to allot at least like 10% to the party.
Check.
Queen Jack 7, all spades. Only spade belongs to Melson with that 8 of spades. Melson checks. Yosifov's going to continue here.
500.
500,000. Nelson has done this before. where
Yeah,
it
you
kinda
mentioned
looks
this.
like he's going to fold, but then he might call. See? Look, now he's going to call. .2 out there now. 4 of diamonds here on the turn.
Check.
Yosifov is still best with his king high.
I've been very impressed with him so far. His sizings and the like have been on point. This is one of those uncomfortable spots. You know, king 9, no spade in hand, but we can try and dislodge our opponent off 1 pair type holdings or a medium spade, which we see Melson has. And Yosifov's finding it.
1.7.
Very nice.
Well done there on the double barrel from Melson. Gets it done. Pulls in those chips. Melson dips back below 10 million. Yosifov up to 17.8. Once again, this is the final table of event number 49, $3,000 No-Limit Hold'em Freezeout at the 2024 World Series of Poker. My name is Donnie Peters. His name next to me is Andrew Headley. What's your Twitter handle?
Oh, it's
Poker to Picasso, is that?
at Picasso 2 Poker.
Picasso 2 Poker.
Yeah.
The number 2.
The number 2.
Poker. So give this man a follow. He's going to be out here grinding in Las Vegas for the summer, hoping to make day 5 of the WSOP main event this year.
Come on, I can do better
I'm
than
rooting
that.
for it.
Final table, man.
Let's go.
800,000.
Anyone can do
You'll
it.
be in there, right? You'll be in there.
I'll be in there. I plan to be in there. It'll be my 3rd time playing the WSOP main event. I had always told myself that once I play it, I want to play it every single year. We see Melson here, 3-bet jamming.
Yeah.
Stamm open to 800K on the button. Melson finds the ace-10 of spades and puts his money in.
Yeah, going to be a little frustrating for Stamm. He's run into a lot of resistance, but people have just had it for the most part. Other than Hoy's ace-3 off 4-bet jam, people have just had the better of the holdings. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I like how you said there. You know, I was like final table, and then you're like anybody can do it.
Listen,
thanks,
nine
thanks,
people
mate.
got to make the final table.
I know,
okay?
but that's nice.
The best man at my wedding, Gary Gates, made the final table in 2009.
Did he really?
In 2019.
Of course he did. I know. Yeah. He was your best
fourth.
man.
Yeah, he was the
Not
best
know
man
that.
at my wedding. I was the best man in his wedding.
That's nice.
He made an incredible run. I've played some poker. I've played some big tournaments. Whatever. I've never been more nervous than I was watching him make that run. It was nerve-wracking. Yeah, but I've played it 2 years in a row now. I had always told myself that when I do play it,
yeah,
2 things. One, I want to be able to play it every single year. So I want to get to a point where I'm comfortable, like in my work life, I'm comfortable just with everything that I can play it every single year.
Sure.
I also want to get to a point where I can have a decent percentage of myself.
Yeah.
Sell some action, but still have a good chunk of myself. I would hate to like sell 90%, let's say, win the thing.
Oh no.
And then I got 10%, and then I'm going to play in traffic in the Las Vegas Strip because I'm just over it.
Tough to recover from that.
So that's where I am. So I have not cashed yet, but I will say that the first year I made day 2, the second year I made day 3.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this year I'm going to make day 4. Just the natural progression.
Of course.
So in like 6 years, I'll make.
You're gonna win. You're gonna win the
day
main.
9 and I'll win it. That's just how it's going to go.
WSOP main event 2029 winner Donnie Peters.
Yeah, I'm in for it. Maybe
I'm there for it
maybe
too.
online poker will be back much more in full here in the U.S. and then I'll be winning like $18 million for first place. Stamm here opened it up with ace-4 off. I think a bit of a sigh there from him where it's just like these guys, like they keep fighting back at me. They've had it a lot. Yosifov well-timed here with the king-7 on the 3-bet, gets it done. So
Really nice recognition. I think just recognizing, right, Schwartz in there with 2.2 million, knows that Stamm has to have a real hand here to get it in. Very nice. He is motoring now.
Yosifov really doing well here on just about 19 million, 38% of the chips in play.
Yeah, creeping towards that sort of, once you get up to that 45, 50% of the chips, it can be very tough for anybody to stop him. We got some contenders here, and that is an understatement. Stamm now.
This is a tricky spot with king, queen off.
Really is.
800,000.
He's going to come in with a min raise. Probably hoping the most that he can just raise and take it.
Sure.
Not really have to deal with anything, given where his chip position is and where Schwartz's chip position is. And this looks like it is going to get through. Hoy gives up that 5 deuce off, so.
There's a big sigh of relief inwardly here.
Of course.
We're like, wow,
we can't
I've been
see it because he's got the mask on, but for sure. He opened his mouth, he's like,
he's been getting pounded on.
Octopi Poker, our good friends over at Octopi Poker, led by that man right there, Andrew Lucky Chewy Lichtenberger. They want to send you to compete in the Poker Masters. You can enter for free via a social media giveaway. PokerGo.com/winmasters. That'll bring you to the giveaway page. That is where you can enter for free. Highly encourage you to get in there. You just have to complete some very simple social media tasks. Things such as, hey, follow Octopi on Twitter, retweet this tweet. Andrew, you can go there to PokerGo.com/winmasters and enter. I can't because I work for PokerGo, but you can. And then maybe you come out. You
Ship
play,
the value, baby.
You play in the studio.
I'm in there. I'm seeing that everywhere right now, Octopi Poker. I'm hearing big things also. That's one of the sponsors this year, right?
Yeah, and Andrew Lucky Chewy Lichtenberger, he's teamed up with Victoria Lipschitz, with Nick Schulman. I think they just added Stephen Chidwick to the team.
Beautiful.
So some really, really bright minds there that are, building a really good platform. Chewy's been a long-time coach.
Yeah.
One of the best minds in poker and one of those people who can really convey their thoughts into teachings.
Sure.
Yosifov here, king 3, makes it 800K. Hoy finds queens. Hoy makes it 2.2 million.
Yeah, very intriguing dynamic starting to build between these two. This is the second time in these exact positions that Hoy has 3-bet Yosifov. And, you know, he'll be thinking to himself, Donnie, you don't really get to 3-bet me too often. And here we go. And it's had enough.
At some point, I'm almost wondering if Yosifov is going to really ramp up the aggression.
Yeah.
As long as Schwartz is there with like 5 big blinds, it's really going to handcuff these players.
Oh.
Ace, king, 10 with 1 heart. Yosifov flops a pair of kings, the best hand. There is, of course, that ace out there. Boy, with those queens, he is first to act here.
Yeah, very tricky.
2 million.
Is the type of board texture that we feel compelled to c-bet, right, as the pre-flop 3-better. Very scary to barrel into the chip leader here.
Look at Yosifov. He's going to peel one off here.
Yeah.
9 of diamonds here on the turn. 9.2 million out there. Hoy's got 7.7 behind. Just looking at his chips here.
Yeah, really interesting. Hoy potentially thinking to himself, what type of better hand can I dislodge here? You know, we do beat a 10, but not too many of them that we're beating, right? A hand like 10-Jack suited, 10-8 suited types that took the price pre-flop. You know, Yosifov is going to have some ace-X in his range that doesn't want to, you know, 4-bet or get it in pre-flop. Going to have some kind of king-Jack suited types, Donnie, as well.
Yeah,
Very uncomfortable spot here with just a pair of queens.
Do you think it's important that Hoy does block, specifically ace, queen of hearts, ace, queen of spades?
100%.
Which are probably the better aces. You would think ace, king, Yosifov just gets that in.
Sure.
If he were to barrel here, we do see that he checked. Ace, jack is in kind of a really weird spot. What are you going to do?
For sure.
Hoy does slow down here with a check. Yosifov's going to check behind. Very important river card here. King of diamonds. Trip kings now for our chip leader from Bulgaria, Nikolay Yosifov. Hoy first to act.
Yeah, really interesting spot. Looks. This is a strange, somewhat strange decision from from where I'm sitting, excuse me, Donnie, to bet here. Not too sure what we're targeting by betting 3 million.
Third pot here. Yosifov's kind of like, I mean, what do I beat? Like, but I
Sure.
have to call. What? I think he's ultimately going to pay it off, but you're kind of not thrilled, but you have to. Backdoor diamonds do get there. There is the call, and it is the correct call. Hoy's going to show those queens, but those are second best. Yosifov's going to roll over. His king 3 of hearts. A pot of 15.2 million. Heading over to Nikolay Yosifov. Hoy leans back in his chair there, kind of like,
Yeah, that one hurts.
what did I just do type of thing.
That one really hurts.
He did have the best of it going in with the queens, but ultimately got out-flopped.
Where's the button? Right there.
Yeah, may look back on that river decision especially, Donnie, and regret it. Hopefully not for his sake. But what a moment that is for Yosifov. We did say we're looking for someone, right, to kind of pull away from the pack. And, well, we got like half the chips in play now, right? Something along those lines, more than 55% or so.
Yeah, Yosifov just a dominant position right now, and we'll see if he just starts opening it up. He's gonna give up that king deuce. Hoy is left with about 4.7 million, so not the shortest act. That's still Schwartz, so keep that in mind. Schwartz is going to be in the big blind the next hand.
Man, that was brutal.
He's got 2.2 million behind. You see Hoy there, got up and go to his rail and say, man, that was brutal.
Yeah.
Action here to Stamm in the small blind.
All in.
Stamm says, ICM is for poor people. I'm all in.
I know, that's why.
I don't care that Schwartz has 5 big blinds over there. gets it through.
Something to be said sometimes
Oh, wait,
for
what?
just simplifying the decision-making
Yep.
process. Also, especially with Hoy dropping below him now. You know, nice to just shove this in. Okay, if you wake up with it, then good game me. But I can solidify third place. Just go ahead and take it down. That's just that. Yeah, there was a lot to unpack from that hand.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
The King 3 Queens. I think you were sort of alluding to it that maybe the time to bluff was on the turn.
Yeah, I mean,
Like if we are going to bluff at all, right?
yeah, if you kind of think through the combos, what you have, what your
Sure.
opponent has, you know, I mean, probably the best hand that Yosifov would have there would be ace-10.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's hard
Very
to have
reasonable.
ace-10 when there's an ace-10 out there, so very tough spot. I guess he could show up with 2 10s sometimes, you know, not want to get that in pre-flop, but
I'm with you.
Yosifov here with a raise under
It's
the
so
gun,
bad that I
king
can't
8,
even call. Like I
Schwartz
have like
remains handcuffed here, can't do anything.
0% chance of when I call with those cards. Not my
Schwartz,
day.
by folding that big blind, gave up 800K from his stack, so he's now down to 1.45 million. He's in the small blind now, posting 200,000.
Yeah, being
The good news if you're Schwartz is that you're only posting 200K and you have some free hands after. That's the good news. But things are going around the table quite quickly, so this is the rotation when he's going to want to get his money in. And Stamm here, ace king off.
800.
800,000 from him.
It does find a real hand.
I mean, Schwartz just he can't find anything.
No.
It's- I mean, you kind of feel for the guy. I mean, he just hasn't been able to get his money in at all.
Oh, it's a horrible feeling, just sort of withering
And
away.
it's not that he doesn't want to. He clearly
Yeah.
he wants to just give me like queen 9. Well, let's just go. I mean, 10 8 7 suited. I'm ready. Like anything.
He really hasn't made a mistake. It's just
yeah.
one of those rare occasions where you just get completely dealt out. But he's still alive. Mercifully for him, there are a couple of kind of shortish stacks. Well, Stamm now sort of pulling away from that with those back-to-back pots. But Hoy, shade under 12 blinds. Schwartz he just got to find something, doesn't he? Find something to start.
Doesn't there. Queen deuce off into the
How much are you
muck.
playing?
Yosifov here. Probably just going to put this in
2,
against
3, 4, 5,
Hoy.
6,
He's got about 11 big blinds.
6 something? Less than that. Probably like 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 or something.
Quite interesting whether he elects to raise calls sometimes, right? 'Cause it's a very strong hand in the small blind. You know, because he's going to be perceived to be bluffing so much, right? Like pre-flop.
Yeah, he could raise. I mean, he could raise call. He could limp to deuce a
Yeah.
jam. I mean, he could just jam himself. So he's open to a lot of options here. He is going to come with a raise, makes it an even million. Boy's got queen 7 off.
I think I'm a big fan of that. You know, instead of just jamming here,
Yeah.
you want to give Hoy the chance, and we've seen that Hoy's into play, right? He's not. You know, if we raise here and Hoy has like a 9-6 suited or something like this that we dominate.
And one of the things you always want to do when you're playing poker is you want to put your opponents in spots where they can make a mistake.
Sure.
If you jam there, it makes it a little bit easier. Your opponent looks down, he either has it or he doesn't, he's going to fold. There, it's like, what if Hoy looks down and sees queen jack? Oh, I'm all in. I mean, you might be weak.
Sure.
You know, that sort of thing.
100%.
Or maybe I just call with an inferior hand in position and we play a bigger pot than you're comfortable playing given where Schwartz is in chips. So anytime you can put your opponent in some kind of tricky spots where they can be prone to make mistakes, that's good for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that adjustment from Yosifov. Been impressed with him. You know, there, just jam in king deuce, right? Put the pressure on and go for the raise call with the ace-9 suited.
7-3 off there for Schwartz.
Oh, it's painful.
His folds are getting more and more demonstrative as he's just like, get these cards away from me. I'm surprised he hasn't asked for a wash yet. New deck, new setup, something. Like, can we do something here?
Yeah, I really feel for him. It's an
At this point,
awful
I
feeling.
know we're not supposed to root here. I want him to double up.
I do too.
Like, it's just, he's been through enough pain. Schwartz here under the gun. Very important because he has 3 big blinds.
I
The
don't know if I
next
have a
hand,
choice.
2 of those big blinds are going to be forced in. Big blind ante and the big blind.
Very much a case of now or never. See if you can find something to work with.
We've all been card dead, and this is just absolutely brutal.
Give that man a king 9 suited. He doesn't look happy. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
All right.
King, queen, good luck, sir. Schwartz finally all in here. King, queen off. He's all in for 1.25 million.
Oh, there's no
And,
justice.
I mean, what is this? Stamm finds
Goodness
ace
me.
king off. I mean, it's just, when it's not your day, it's not your day. Stamm jams there.
Oh.
Ace jack from Melson.
I mean, this is really close. Really close, Donnie. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Here
I'm
we
not
go.
shocked. Not shocked.
We
Goodness
got
me.
3-way all in.
Guys are gonna make
Ace king, ace jack, queen.
king queen.
Out of nowhere, all the money is in between Schwartz, Stamm,
This is a
and
big one.
Melson.
A svoj valema.
Melson has both players covered.
Jack.
He has the second best hand with the ace jack, but he could take out both David Stamm and Jonathan Schwartz. Jonathan Schwartz can't even believe it. I mean, look at him. He's like, I finally find 2 pain cards, a pretty decent hand, king, queen off, and this guy's got ace king and this guy's got ace jack. What is going on?
1 in 4 times though, Donnie. He can get out of this.
So if
Goodness me, out of nowhere. 3-way all-in action. Huge, potentially pivotal moment here in this tournament.
I'm the only one
Stamm in
standing
a
up
great
for this.
spot here with
You guys
his
are
hand.
totally corrected.
Stamm's tournament life is on the line, as is Jonathan Schwartz. Melson cannot be eliminated on this hand. Even if he loses to Stamm, he would be left with 3 million.
I'm just like,
Stamm and Schwartz both standing.
Ace jack 10.
oh, just don't do what I do.
Sweat it out. Ma da, ma ne znam.
Here comes the flop, and it's a big one. Jack,
Oh my
8,
God.
7. You heard Stamm there. Oh my God, is right. Melson vaults into the lead, and he now has Stamm and Schwartz both on the ropes.
Queen.
Queen on the turn. Schwartz now in front.
Come on, low, brick. Brick.
Melson and Stamm do have a big side pot that they're playing for with how short Schwartz is. So Stamm still looking to hit here.
Brick. Red deuce. Jack. 5.
5 of hearts on the river. That is not going to do it. Stamm is going to be eliminated in 5th place. He is going to be busted by Melson. Take home $132,000 in prize money. Jonathan Schwartz stays alive, and he is going to triple his stack, get back up over 4 million. I mean, I have no more words.
Goodness
I mean,
me,
what the
Donnie.
heck?
I'm dead.
Incredible scenes. What a moment for Schwartz. Finds the queen on the turn and the full treble up. And from being out of the door, he is now 3rd in chips and still in contention at this final table. And huge commiserations to Stamm. That's pretty brutal, Donnie. Out in 5th place. Played great.
Very, very good showing. As you mentioned, he did play great. Stamm played very well. Some very good card sense, good instincts throughout. And then ultimately gets his money in as good as you can.
Sure.
And it just doesn't work out in his favor. Stamm took 4th place in the $25,000 high roller that was won by Nick Schulman. He cashed for $529,000 there. Here he takes 5th place from a field of 1,252. He'll add $132,000 to his bankroll. And by the looks of it, by what we've seen so far, I would say that this isn't the last we've seen of David Stamm at this World Series of Poker.
100%.
Exactly.
Really was impressed. He took every spot, every 3-bet potential spot he took. Played very brave, very, aggressive, brave style of poker. And then, unfortunately, sometimes you get outdrawn. GG, sir.
See?
But it was nice playing with you. Seriously.
Nice playing
I was
with
with you for
you.
a couple days. It was really nice. It was a pleasure.
Thank you
Good
so
luck to you
much.
on the rest of the series.
Good luck. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Nice playing with you,
Yeah,
sir.
you too.
was a
You're
pleasure.
tough. You are a tough guy.
Thank you. I'll take
Hey,
it.
nice playing with you. If I see you around, I'll take you up on that sake or something.
All right,
right,
let's do
good
it.
luck.
Stam
Thank you so
appears
much,
to be
man.
in very good
Playing with you.
spirits. Good on him.
Yeah, what a gentleman. Lovely to see.
That was Stam's
What
second
can
final
you
table here at the
do?
2024 World Series of Poker. Again, he'll be off to the
That was
payout desk to
literally
collect
insane.
$132,000.
Crazy, crazy stuff.
The remaining 4 players now guaranteed $180,000.
Fuck, it's like, it's the only card I can hit.
Yeah.
Schwartz moves up ahead of Hoy on the leaderboard. That's important to note. He's up to 4.1 million. Hoy just behind on 3.6. Yosifov still the very, very big chip leader. 28.6 million for him. Yosifov's going to raise this hand. 800K under the gun, ace-9 off. A couple of deuces here for Melson. Into the muck they go.
Yeah, nice,
Four deuce for
nice
Schwartz.
disciplined laydown from Melson. Really is the kind of
Keep
spot
it,
now
keep the ends.
where typically you just kind of want to let Yosifov
yeah.
get to work, right? He can
Yep.
just chip down those short
Yeah.
stacks. Melson looking to get heads up, you'd imagine, here if he can, and then work from there.
Yeah, you play this final table out a million times. It's going to be Yosifov versus Melson
Sure.
as the final 2. So Melson just has to kind of tread carefully. And Yosifov should know that and be able to just kind of really open things up, unload the clip kind of wherever he wants.
Yeah, it's open season for him now, for sure. Schwartz, got to be happy for him. I mean, it was brutal to watch. And just finds that treble just in time. Not out of this one yet.
We're back. We're back, baby.
Yeah, oh, look this son.
That's
Not
good. You
bad,
called
not
that.
bad.
You
Yeah.
called that instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Instant.
These are the final 4 players in event number 49 at the 2024 World Series of Poker. $3,000 buy-in, No-Limit Hold'em Freezeout. 1,252 entries began this tournament. Created a prize pool of more than $3.3 million. They're playing for $523,000 up top. And of course, the coveted World Series of Poker gold bracelet. My name is Donnie Peters. I'm joined by Andrew Headley. It's been a pleasure to call the action so far. Pretty fun final table.
Really has. Enjoying it a lot. I mean, you saw me earlier when I came in. I was like, woo,
Yeah.
it's the World Series, baby.
I know,
You know,
it's-
just like a kid at Christmas. I was like, right, I'm excited for this. I've done my training. I'm ready to go.
There is absolutely nothing like the World Series of Poker.
100%.
You know, I almost wish that it was the World Series of Poker season every single day for
Yeah.
the whole year, but it is good to have the break. And then have straight 7 weeks here out in Las Vegas in the desert. My home, so Melson here. 800K is the raise.
You are right, though. There is just something special about it. It's just different gravy, as we say in the UK.
It's great. 99 gold bracelet events, live gold bracelet events, I should say, on the 2024 WSOP schedule. So we're right around the halfway point here. PokerGO is streaming more than 300 hours from the 2024 WSOP. Of course, we have this event here being broadcast on PokerGO, on the PokerGO YouTube channel, and on select fast channels, including Pluto TV. If you are watching on the PokerGO YouTube channel, please hit that like button. It's the little thumbs up right below the video. Also subscribe to the channel. We're approaching 500 likes. Our goal always is to hit 1,000, so let's help us get there. As we always say, and it is true, the more likes, the more subscriptions we have to the YouTube channel, the more that we can go to the bosses and say, hey, listen, these people like free stuff.
Yeah.
They engage with our free stuff, and hopefully that we can then convince them to bring you more free stuff. On PokerGo.com tomorrow, we're going to have day 2 action of the $250,000 super high roller. And then on Sunday, we'll have the final table of the $250,000 super high roller. Yosifov here with a raise to 800K. Melson says, I'm all in. Ace king off.
Breakdown.
Yeah, I was intrigued to see how he would approach this spot. You know, of course he's going to know that his hand is crushing Yosifov's range, but decides just to play kind of the low variance route, Donnie, and just rip it in there, knowing his opponent won't call very much.
Those 300 hours of coverage on PokerGo, as I mentioned. Promo code WSOP24YT for $20 off your first year of a new annual plan. Just head on over to PokerGo.com, sign up or upgrade to an annual subscription. Plug in that promo code WSOP24YT. You'll save $20 on your first year. I mentioned the 250K Super High Roller coming up. I believe on Monday we start our coverage of the $50,000 Poker Players Championship. I think we're going to have 4 straight days of coverage of that event.
That's a big one.
Of course, everyone is eyeing the WSOP main event that starts on July 3rd. We're going to have daily coverage from July 3rd to July 17th.
255, eh?
I'm all in.
Here we go. Hoy, shortest stack at the table, decides now is the time. Ace-3 off on the button. Blinds have gone up, so a shade over 5 bigs. Any ace going to be good enough. And dream of a result here against his fellow short stack. You know, getting that shove through is massive, and taking 500,000 additional chips from Schwartz. Also a huge boost for Hoy. Back into 3rd place on his own.
Like 12 million, maybe?
Schwartz on the ventilator again now. Back to 4 big blinds.
15, 49 or something.
Ace King here, suited diamonds for Melson. Melson out of Norway.
Raise 1 million.
Makes it 1 million. Blinds have gone up to 500K for the big blind.
A really fascinating. You know, I'm a bit of a nerd with these type of things, Donnie. But just with the way that the chip stacks are, immediately there I'm thinking in my mind, right, Yosifov really wants to mess with Melson.
Yeah.
Like, anytime he opens a pot, I'm sure Yosifov's going to be thinking, right, I can 3-bet here incredibly recklessly because my opponent's going to struggle to play back. But, you know, on this occasion, 7-3 off. Not much to work with.
Yeah.
Lets it go.
It's almost like whichever one of them enters a pot first, it's like that person's pot in a lot of ways.
Sure.
Yes, Yosifov can, of course, mess with him on some occasions, but a lot of times it's going to be which one of them decides to put money in the pot, and then it's going to just it's going to be on Hoy or Schwartz. If they can find a hand to go with, let's see what happens. Schwartz here on the button, 10-8 off. Just going to put that in the muck.
Yeah, that makes sense. Knows that Yosifov is going to leverage heavily against Hoy. Almost never going to walk him. And, well, ace-king off. Finds a big hand.
All in.
All in.
There is the shove. Jack-7 here for Hoy. Into the muck it goes.
It's basically a race for 3rd place at the moment between Hoy and Schwartz. Just trying to outlast each other. Do we know the next pay jump, Mr. Peters?
I'm pulling it up right now.
I'm going to take a guess. Let's say 72K.
70K.
Okay, not too far away.
Well, 69,000. 249,000 for 3rd place. 180,000 is what everyone is guaranteed.
It's huge, right?
Yep.
Well, Schwartz, King 10, under 4 big blinds.
There it is. All in for Schwartz. 1.9 million.
Hoy in the tank with just Queen 9. Little surprising. He's, of course, praying that Melson finds a call. Well, he looks like he will. They have the same hand. Of course, going to call with King 10.
Dominated. King 10.
Same hand.
Dominated.
Spades and diamonds
10,
for
King 10.
Melson.
Yeah.
Hearts for Schwartz. Does have that 10 of spades, but of
I don't
course
want a
Melson has
spade.
the king of spades.
But I'll take hearts. Sweat. No.
Ace 6-3 rainbow. So chop it up,
Just
run it out.
Yeah.
Just quickly, I'm
Nice
checking in on that $250,000 super high roller. Looks like Sean Winter is the current chip leader, followed by Adrian Mateos,
Almost.
Alex Kulev, Alexei Ponikov, Justin Bonomo,
Happy
Alex
wasn't King
Fox,
6 or
Brian
King
Kim.
8 or
So,
King 8.
you know, a who's who of the high roller scene. Jason Kuhn's in there. I see Chance Corneth.
I was going to say it's pretty soft
Yeah,
field.
pretty soft, super
Yeah.
soft. We should pull our money and go get in
I
there.
think so too.
Seth Davies, Stephen Chidwick, Daniel Negreanu, Andrew Lucky Chewy Lichtenberger.
Yeah, I was like, I know what's supposed to be in my head.
I do see that David Peters and Victor Blom have been eliminated. I don't know if that was their first entry or second entry. This tournament does allow one re-entry, so we'll see if they get back in or not. They are up to 55 entries. I believe they had 63 entries last year. So trending in the right direction
we got
to
1 point. What do we got?
surpass last year's field size. As I mentioned not too long ago,
That's
day
what we
2 will be streaming from the 250K Super High Roller
You don't wanna just-
on
Yeah, you don't
PokerGo.com
wanna-
tomorrow on
Point
Saturday,
that.
and then the final table will follow on Sunday. A couple of 9s here for Yosifov.
Wait, it's 1 million.
Yeah, Yosifov here just loving life. On to Hoy. Such a grim situation.
I mean, this is the ICM
Yeah,
situation. I mean,
absolutely.
you are virtually tied
Wow,
with
and he's
Schwartz.
just going to go for it anyway. Credit to him, not afraid. I think most players would fold here and look to just outlast Schwartz, but Hoy wants a chance at winning this tournament.
And Schwartz
Queen
loves
Jack,
to see
nines.
this.
Oh, he's
Queen
loving
Jack,
it.
nines.
Flip. It's a flip. Как будто домой
Boy,
валит
with the Queen Jack, 2 overs,
How about
going
that?
over to his fiance there, Madison.
Big blind. Не бе, аз рейзвам този от бутона.
What? Jack deuce.
Schwartz proudly announcing that he folded a jack.
No, queen or jack. It's easy, man. Easy.
Queen.
There we go.
King 8.
Keep it in. Keep it in. Keep it in.
Hoy takes the lead here with a pair of queens. So far, so good as he looks to double up. 3 of diamonds on the turn. That means Yosifov is going to be looking for either the 9 of spades or the 9 of clubs on the river to eliminate Hoy. If not, Hoy would double up. River card is the Jack of Hearts. And Hoy
Now it's
finds
over.
the double up.
I don't leave a million. Yeah.
Back up over 6 million.
Nice hand,
Back
nice hand.
in the game.
Shit, man.
2.6.
Jonathan Schwartz did not want to see that.
2.675.
Right, unhappiest
Would've
man
loved to
in the
get
room.
Get that $69,000 pay jump, but
Fantastic stuff for Hoy. Quite, dare I say, refreshing to see, Donnie. I think most players there, you know, being aware of the big pay jumps, they just fold. And
I would have folded.
I would fold for sure. But, you know, Hoy, he wants to win the tournament, and credit to him, right? We've seen
Yep.
it throughout this broadcast. Taking every spot, he's not afraid, and he wants to win. And it's, you know, we don't see enough of it these days. People are too aware of the money.
we definitely do not see
Well
enough
done,
of
Hoy.
it these days. So Hoy now out of the danger zone, up to 6.6 million, so about 13 big blinds or
You
so.
lost the most in that hand.
Jonathan Schwartz now
It's,
very, very
big deal.
short. 1.2 million for him at 500K big blind.
Does he want to win this badly, Donnie? Goodness me, is gonna raise.
Clearly he wants to win if this is, he's clearly playing just to win.
All in.
So he raises to $1 million. Schwartz calls, or sorry, Schwartz goes all in with 7.5. Schwartz gonna love what he sees.
Wow,
To be
he's
honest.
somehow flipping. Goodness me. Things
At 2
happening
overs.
at a breakneck pace.
Another flip. Another flip. It's a flip.
To отвори тройки.
Schwartz deciding time to put the rest of my soldiers into battle. Calls off and is in a flip situation against the pocket threes of Hoy.
Live. I'm like, I'm just gonna look at the screen.
Schwartz is at risk here.
3 off for big blind.
7.5 off for him. Can he stave off elimination one more time? Here comes the flop. Ace, King, 6.
That's fucking good.
Schwartz does not connect yet. That 6 does slide in there for some backdoor straight draw possibilities.
Monkey, monkey,
He has
monkey.
29% equity here.
Monkey!
4 on the turn.
Oh, shit.
Schwartz now
No threes,
open-ended,
threes are
12 outs. You can see them at the top of your screen. A 3, a 5, and an 8 were folded.
Come on.
Still plenty of equity here going to the river. 10 of clubs on the river. That is not going to do it for Jonathan Schwartz. Hoy takes him out. Those pocket threes hold up.
Take care.
Good hand.
And Schwartz is out the door in 4th place. $180,000 for him. All things considered, where he was, laddering up from 5th to 4th, pretty good overall.
100%, I'm with you. Yeah, credit to him, he hung in there for a very long time. Eventually, couldn't withstand the pressure any longer, gets it in. Great run though, 4th place. I'm sure he'll reflect and be happy eventually with that. It always stings at the time, but it's a pretty good run, and he was very card dead, so GG Mr. Schwartz.
Yeah, Schwartz out of Las Vegas, Nevada, according to HendonMob.com, had just 6,100 in live tournament
Getting a lot of
earnings.
slack on live right now.
So very, very good score for him there. 180K.
How much are we playing now?
These final 3 players
Like 8
guaranteed
million?
$249,000.
Yeah, 60 something. Yeah, about
7. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's 8.
Wait.
That's 8.
Players just getting to count on each other's
7,
stacks here. Yosifov limping in with Jack-10 off, and Hoy's got a couple of 5s here in the big blind. Hoy has not shied away from putting his money in, and he is going to come with a raise here up to 1.5 million. Yosifov makes the call. We're just over 700 likes on the YouTube video. Let's see if we can get up over 1,000 by the end of this hand. How about that? Let's go. Hit that like button quick before this hand ends. Ace 7-4 on the flop. Yosifov checks. Continuation bets, 2.5 million from Hoy, and that gets it done. I don't think we hit 1,000 before the end of that hand, guys. I don't think you were quick enough. Keep hitting that like button, please. Let's do it before the end of the next hand. How about that? I'll take it. We always shoot to get 1,000 likes on our videos here on the PokerGO YouTube channel. Shout out as well to everyone watching on PokerGO.com, or if you are watching on one of the select fast channels out there, including Pluto TV. We see you. We appreciate you.
Seems like a lot of work.
For those of you on PokerGO or on the PokerGO YouTube channel, let us know where you're watching from. I'm sure we have a very international crowd, as we always do for these WSOP streams, so we'd love to hear where you are tuning in from. Drop your location in the chat. Shout out to our mods over on YouTube and PokerGO. Russell, Christy, appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. Incantations as well.
650.
These mods do a lot of heavy lifting for us. It is very much appreciated. Very, very much. Thank you, guys. Yosifov raised to 1 million with a couple of 9s. Melson defended from the big blind with ace-5. 8-8-4 with a couple of hearts. Melson check calls 650,000. Jack of diamonds here on the turn as I see the locations rolling in. Colorado, UK, Louisville, Kentucky, Ohio, SoCal, Delaware. Check, check on the turn. Jack of hearts on the river. Yosifov has the best hand with his better 2 pair. Teddy, I see you too. See you too, buddy. 1.5 million from Melson. Yosifov is going to make the call, and he's going to see the good news. Just ace high there for Melson, but those nines, Jackson nines for Yosifov, and he takes the pot. Wyoming, Melbourne, Australia, Ontario, Canada, Miami, Santa Monica, Tony Montana from Vegas, Atlanta, Pittsburgh. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it as always. The final 3 players here in event number 49 at the World Series of Poker came from a field of 1,252 entries. Guaranteed $249,000, but of course everyone is trying to win that $523,000 first place prize. My name is Donnie Peters, and I'm joined by Andrew Headley here in the booth.
Absolute pleasure to be in the mix with you, Donnie. 3-handed here. And Hoy has hauled himself back into contention here in the hunt for this bracelet. We see Melson here, limping from the small. We are sweating it with Yosifov. Melson with an unidentified hand in the small. Yosifov checks back. Going to stab here with the king 4 of diamonds. Some nice backdoor potential on 9-deuce-3 rainbow. Gets it done.
Yosifov, the big chip leader, has got 56% of the chips in play. You can look the part of a big chip leader if you head on over to the PokerGo shop, shop.pokergo.com. Take your game to the next level with official PokerGo merch. Brands such as High Stakes Poker, No Gamble, No Future, PokerGo, the PGT, aka the PokerGo Tour, all available at shop.pokergo.com. Or if you're here in Las Vegas, we have a few booths at the World Series of Poker. There is a booth at Horseshoe. There is a booth in the main hallway over at Paris. So you can check that out if you're here. Those booths will be running through the duration of the World Series of Poker, so I would encourage you to check those out. You can try stuff on in person, see how you look, see how it feels, and get some merch if you would like it. I believe you can also order stuff online and like pick it up at the booth if you want to do that. So
What a world. What a world we live in these days.
A lot of options out there.
Speaking of options, Yosifov takes his option to limp. Hoy checking back here with the king 8.
10-8-4. Both players finding a piece of this one. Quick check, check. 6 on the turn. Second spade.
500.
Check from Yosifov. 500 minimum bet from Hoy. Yosifov makes the call. Jack of spades on the river.
Oh, 4.
Check, check. The 8's good.
Yeah, not surprised to see that one go check, check. Yosifov, you know, feeling compelled to call one 500k bet there with bottom pair through the Jack of Spades river. Nice pickup for Hoy, and just like that, up to joint second.
Yep.
Chips here with Melson. Great spot for Yosifov. You know, we've seen that he's been trying to sort of get after it, leverage that chip lead. I do expect him to continue in the same vein. Very awkward for his opponents, of course. 22 bigs or so, 24 bigs for Melson. Yosifov working with around about 55 big blinds. Plenty of ammunition. Does decline the option with the 8-6 off. Hoy with the same holding here in the small blind.
He's in there. Melson checks the queen 10 off from the big blind, so heads up here, blind versus blind. Ace, ace, queen. Good one for Melson. Check, check. Queen on the turn, full house for Melson.
Yeah, big fan of this flop check from Melson. You know, our opponent can have some pure give-ups that can bluff later. Does decide to bet the turn, sort of try and get value from a hand like king high, jack high. Unfortunately for him, Hoy with one of those give-ups quickly gets out of the way.
Big blind.
happened to the Bachelorettes? Did we lose them? Or they're this side, they're the other side?
Yeah, but I haven't seen them. I think they might have stepped out for a minute.
They've decided it's time.
Hoy doubled up, and then he took out Schwartz, and then they left. They said, all right, you've made us enough money.
They said that's enough for now.
$250,000, and, you know, we're going to the bar. That's how it is.
That's how it should be.
I'm guessing they went to the bar. I mean, that would be my guess. But who really knows?
Big fan of Yosifov's kind of table demeanor. He seems very unflappable. You know, even earlier on, things were kind of going against him. It's always a test, right? You're in under the lights. It's like a stressful situation. You said yourself, we don't know too much about his background. Really has been very, very composed.
Yeah, it can be kind of like shell-shocking in a way to play under the bright lights of a WSOP final table like this when you're going to be on camera, especially if you're not used to it. You know, it can be like, oh, okay, like now it's serious. People at home are going to see my cards. They're going to see how I play. Hopefully, I don't screw up or make an error. Like that can all be weighing on these players.
100%.
Ace 8-7 here.
Yeah, Melson with the betting lead does have a hand that wraps around this board pretty well. Some backdoor potential. And arguably the stronger range pre-flop, of course, when Hoy just defends. Very nicely done. Manages to dislodge the king 9 off. Get the slightly better hand to fold. Credit to all three of these guys. They've been in there swinging. Action back on Yosifov. Gets out of the way. The 10-5 offsuit. Hoy now with 4-5 off in the small blind. We know he likes to battle. Isn't going to give up on this just yet. Does limp in. Melson with 3 high in the big blind. Haven't seen it yet from him, Donnie, but is going to decide here to ISO with the really junky holding. Perfectly timed, well played.
Yeah, gets done there. That 3 deuce off. Probably not going to flop too well, so just try and take it down pre.
Yeah.
Melson is putting a little gap between him and Hoy, which is very important.
Yeah, things move quickly three-handed, as we know. You know, 1.25 million being committed from these players every 3 hands from the big blind. And small blind, of course. Back on Hoy.
There's a raise to $1 million. Jack 4 suited. Ace 5 off here for Yosifov. Yeah, could certainly see him just put this in if he wanted to.
Yeah, these offsuit ace-X are the type of hands, especially against, you know, an aggressive opponent, which Hoy is. Yeah,
there it is.
Not shocked to see him find it.
Good timing there. Really does force Hoy to pick up a hand. Jack 4 suited, of course, is not going to do it, so chip leader adds a little bit there. Hoy now down on 7.6 million. Nikolay Yosifov, the chip leader out of Bulgaria, $185,000 in live tournament earnings entering this event. So he's going to certainly more than double that, if not quite a bit more, given where he is on the leaderboard. His 7th World Series of Poker cash this summer.
That's pretty wild. I don't know exactly how many events he's actually fired, but even still, right?
Like if
even if he's fired like 20, right? That's pretty strong. Good for him. He's on course to take home the biggest score of his career. So we see Melson here, 7-8 of diamonds, opens the button. Hoy going to defend, does have his opponent dominated with Queen 7. Can't know it, of course. Through to the Jack, Jack 5 rainbow. Interesting, Melson declines the opportunity to c-bet. Going to go for the delay. Through to the Jack, third Jack, excuse me, on the turn. Does go for that delayed c-bet. Often can get a bit more credit, Donnie, for having something here when we check flop.
Definitely. I mean, Hoy has the best of it here, but
Yeah.
hard to call with Queen
Nothing
high.
you can do for sure.
Hoy now down to just over 6 million in chips. So starting to flirt with that 10 big blind territory, which means he's probably going to be looking to get his money in very soon. Melson looking firmly in second place on 16 million, and then of course Yosifov is still the big chip leader on 28 million.
Yeah, incredible how quickly things can change three-handed. Hoy, one failed steal and one failed defend, and just like that, you're down to 6 million. And Yosifov with a really big hand here, three-handed. Pocket jacks. Unfortunately for him, both of his opponents waking up with a whole bag of nothing. Of course, continues to add chips to that growing tower of pink. This is far too chill to rail. This is what I'm talking about. But what is this? Come on, lads.
Yeah, I know.
Like your boy's three-handed, big chip lead, about to win $500,000, and you're all just standing around with the backpacks on, like arms crossed.
I know.
Not on my watch, Johnny. I'm not having it. I'm sorry.
The big boisterous rails have been few and far between in recent years.
You hate
and-
seeing
and
it.
You miss them. You really do.
How much do you have total? Like 5 million?
Apart
Wait,
from
like
big
five.
Hooney's rail yesterday
Yeah,
was
I
pretty
mean,
bliss.
that was out of control. I knew it was going to be crazy. I was out on the floor when I saw them walk in before the final table even started. 3 of them had drinks in both hands. 1 of them had a big cooler. And I was like, okay, here we go. They're bringing it.
That was something else, that final. Well then, Hoy, min raising here, ace-9 on the button, defended by Yosifov with jack-10.
Yeah, queen 4-4, couple of clubs. Check, check. King on the turn. Yosifov now open-ended. Comes with $1 million.
It looks like a case of good timing here. Deciding his opponent is weak. Really tough for Hoy to continue. Somewhat intriguing spot though. Like, is Yosifov going to lead into me here with a king? You'd expect him potentially to trap check, but not much to be done with just ace-9. Yosifov continues to thrive. We were talking about the rail there. I was a little surprised to see Hoy maybe not just open shove this hand, 12 bigs.
Yeah, I mean, you avoid spots like that.
Sure.
You know? I mean, Yosifov has the chips to kind of just see a flop.
And he,
go
yeah,
from
yeah,
there.
right, because he's just going to defend so liberally.
Yeah, you can get called by worse. You
Absolutely.
know? King, queen, king, jack might call you. Some weaker aces might call you. So.
Sure.
Hoy now sub 10 big blinds in the big blind. 9-4 off here for Yosifov. He's going to limp. Ace-8 off. I would imagine this is going in from Hoy.
Yeah, that money out there, so valuable. 1.25 million in the pot.
All in.
There we go. Quick fold there from Yosifov. And Hoy takes it.
It can be difficult to change gears, right? You know, you've had to play, you know, 5-handed, you've had to play somewhat cagey, and then all of a sudden the brakes are off, so to speak, 3-handed. Got to find as many of these kind of shove spots as possible off the short stack. Not out of this one yet, Hoy. You need to find some heat, though.
Raise, 1 million.
1 million on the button from Yosifov with King 5, Ace 6 off from the small blind for Hoy. He's got just about 10 bigs, 10.5.
Mullen.
There it is. Jam it is. King Queen for Melson. Into the muck it goes.
Yeah, one of those spots that if Yosifov doesn't open button, I'm sure Melson would have snapped a jam.
Yep.
But just one of these spots, you know, there's the potential, we like to call it collision equity, so to speak, of folding the King Queen. You know, the times Yosifov calls and busts Hoy, we get to ladder. And it's pretty tough to kind of cold call here against raise and shove. Melson he's had a very tidy game. Very tidy overall. Taking his spots, played very strong, been impressive.
King 4 in the muck from Hoy. King Queen for Melson.
Yeah, interesting decision point for him. Of course, not looking to clash with Yosifov. We have a very strong hand, though, in the small. Does decide on limp.
1.6 million is the raise from Yosifov. It's going to make things even trickier for Melson here.
All in.
Wow, he's just going to rip it. Good recognition there from Melson.
Absolutely.
Not shying away from the raise from the chip leader.
Yeah, just a classic game flow spot. The big stack going to be getting way out of line facing us in general. With our stack size versus that of Hoy, Yosifov going to be raising a lot here against limp. Well done, Melson, deciding this hand is more than good enough to shove over any of your ISOs. Gets it done.
Melson flirting with 16 million once again. 27 million for Yosifov up top, and then 7.3 for Hoy. 10-9 suited for Melson. Comes in with the raise, makes it 1 million. Couple of ducks here for Hoy.
Mullen.
He does put it in. Look at this.
It's okay.
Melson gives it up. And Hoy continues to show that he is not going to back down at all.
Yeah, very nice.
Going to put his chips, his tournament life on the line. And that can often be quite dangerous to play against, you know.
For sure. I mean, it really is. His main weapon now is going to be finding these spots to reshove. Not so much against Melson, right, who you'd imagine is going to be a little tighter, but you know, a pair 3-handed against the button open is going to perform more than well enough to jam. Yeah, you got to take your hat off. Like, Hoy really has gone for it throughout. It's been very fun for us to watch. Finds another big hand on Ace-Jack in the small. Interesting. It's gone with min raise.
Melson calls in position, Queen 9 of clubs. Jack 9-3. Both players connecting here. Hoy's Ace-Jack is the best top kicker. Second pair for Melson. 1 million from Hoy.
Potential danger for Melson. Certainly can't go anywhere here. Middle pair with some backdoor straight draws.
4 of spades on the turn. Hoy still best. You can see the equity. Very good in favor of Hoy, 89%. Looks like 2.5 million. 3 million, sorry, a little bit larger.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You know, 2 hearts on board, 2 spades on board, very vulnerable. Sort of holding here, even with a hand as strong as ace-jack.
Melson does come along, 7 of spades on the river. Hoy, 3.6 million behind. There's 10.5 out there. There is the jam. Decision time for Melson. There are some draws that missed here. Of course, backdoor spades also come in.
Absolutely.
Your head's up, it's 3-handed, ranges are wider, all that sort of stuff is at play here.
Yeah, really tough decision point for Melson. Of course, 14 million also right in the middle. We're getting an amazing price here. Just about deciding, is our man capable of a triple barrel bluff here, 3-handed? Huge moment for Melson. Can he figure this one out? Like, Hoy has been the type, Donnie, right? Capable, and he does pay it off.
Call it off. Look at this. He's going to see the bad news. Hoy's going to table that ace-jack. And there they are. Hoy's fiance Madison there in the Nike visor.
Holy shit.
Emphatic clapping from her. Hoy with a the little holy shit because, yeah, that was a big one.
Holy shit.
Oh, hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, how's it going, man? Oh, shit.
Hey, показывай.
Well, so I've bluffed off like a fucking flush draw like a million times, so.
Queen high call.
Yeah. Like, I'm 100% polar on that bet.
Okay.
Just like that, Hoy, second place, flip-flops with Melson.
Yeah, that was an absolutely massive swing there. Melson tumbles down to 5.6 million. Hoy shoots way up to 17.7 million.
Huge.
Very much changing the dynamics here. And we have yet to see how Melson has played as a short stack. He's always kind of been second or third, healthy on chips, but now 11 big blinds for him, 3 out of 3 on the leaderboard. Let's see how he reacts to where he is now. Let's also see how Hoy reacts, you know, being up there in second chips. He hasn't shied away from putting his chips in the pot the whole time, and he hasn't been the chip leader or second in chips yet. So now let's see how he plays. It's going to be fun. On the button, Hoy, Jack 5 suited. Yosifov defends, Jack 7. King 7-4, couple of clubs. 1 heart out there as well. Hoy has Jack 5 of hearts.
Yeah, Hoy here with an interesting one. That's a pretty nice combo in terms of, you know, these backdoor straight and flush draws. We can go ahead and get our opponent to just fold a better hand on the flop. Yosifov, though, of course, going nowhere with middle pair, backdoor flush draw of his own.
Yosifov check calls 1 million. Board pairs here on the turn with a 4. Yosifov checks. Let's see if Hoy can find another barrel.
Yeah, very tough one to follow through.
Hoy checks back. 5 on the river. So Hoy picks up 2 pair, 5s and 4s, but still second best to the 7s and 4s from Yosifov. And Yosifov's gonna do a little block, little value hunting here, and Hoy might have connected here on the river with just enough to call. Let's see.
Yeah, one of these very difficult decisions. We do chop with a hand like a 5-6 suited type. There should be some bluffs in there. You know, hands that sort of wrap around the king, like a queen 10 of hearts or something that didn't re-raise pre, right? That decides to call flop and bluff later. Stuff that wraps around the 7 that we can protect. Oh, he's gone for raise. Hello.
I mean, Hoy says you can take your blocker bet and throw it in the Las Vegas Strip. I'm raising.
And you know what? You gotta tip the cap here, whether it works or not. Has correctly sort of deduced that his opponent has a marginal holding that could fold to raise.
And look at Yosifov.
Wow.
Look at this.
Brilliant poker. Quickly snaps it off. Great hand.
Yeah, great hand. I mean, pretty well played by both. You know, I mean, Hoy pounced on the river there. Ultimately, you know, incorrect in the end, but you like to see that. That was the only way he was going to win that hand, is if he got a fold from his opponent. Tried, didn't work out, but A for effort, sir.
Yeah, I really don't mind it.
And then, of course, the call there from Yosifov. Really good for him. Continues to just be
If you didn't have
steady
a club,
Eddie
man,
over there.
You had a club.
Jack 10 off on the button for Melson. Just under 11 bigs for him.
All in.
He moves all in. King 4 spades for Yosifov.
Yeah, as we've been referencing, 1.25 million in the middle that Melson desperately needs. Needs must. Jack 10, more than good enough. Gets the job done.
Ben Hoy out of Henderson, Nevada. According to HendonMob.com, his first live tournament cash. He has several cashes on Hendon, but they're all of the online variety. Then you have Erlend.
Wow, really? This is going to be his first ever live cash?
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
unless I have the wrong profile that I was looking for on Hendon, but I think that's correct. Erlend Melson out of Norway, third ever cash, according to Hendon, has 9,100 in live tournament earnings entering this event. And then Nikolay Yosifov from Bulgaria, 7th World Series of Poker cash this summer, came into this final table with $185,000 in live tournament earnings. Hoy here in the small blind, King 5 of diamonds, facing Melson in the big blind, who is the shortest stack. Let's see if Hoy comes with all of it. Does not. Min raise. King 6 off for Melson. Melson makes the call in position. King 10-10. Very likely going to be a chop on this one, but we'll see how it goes. There is one diamond out there. Hoy has King 5 of diamonds. He's going to continue. Million is the bet.
Yeah, interesting spot here. When Hoy just min raises, I think you can eliminate, right, a lot of sort of ace-X from his range based on the stack depth. So might be one that Melson considers trapping here. Feels natural to me to do so. Like not too many bad turns, so to speak. He's gone for the click.
Yeah, this is a small raise. Looks like 2,050,000. So very much just clicking that raise button. Hoy all in.
Yeah.
Melson calls it off.
King.
Chop share. Popi 6 na popi 5. Najvjerojatnije. Bet, raise, jam, call. Давай, ама.
Melson is the player at risk here. Likelihood of a chop, but let's see what develops on the turn first.
You want 6 or higher.
По-големия май.
Queen of diamonds on the turn. Now it's Hoy with the free roll.
I didn't even
He's
see
got
that coming.
backdoor diamonds.
Oh shit.
Oh dear.
River card is the king of clubs. Both players going to end up with a full house. Chop it up, boys. I love Hoy's reactions.
I can't hold it in any longer.
Yeah.
I've been holding it back, but holy shit.
I love it.
I'm so
I
sorry.
love it.
It's awful. It's absolutely dreadful, but we love it.
Too generous.
I got happy with the free roll, man.
He is so genuine, though. I love it.
Yeah,
like
yeah. No,
he really wants to win. It's great to see.
It's incredible.
We love the emotion, right?
Yeah,
like
I mean, that's,
I want to see people sweating that hard.
yeah, that's what makes this all so great.
Absolutely.
I mean, one of these guys is going to win $523,000 first World Series of Poker gold bracelet.
Amazing.
Absolute poker dream coming true, and it's just incredible to see it all play out.
Couldn't agree more.
Fours here for Melson. Quick shove.
Oh yeah.
That'll get through. Into the muck it goes for Yosifov. For those of you on PokerGo or on the PokerGo YouTube channel, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. We've seen a lot of these players now. Yosifov, Melson, and Hoy. Any favorites out there? Maybe you didn't know these players coming in, but you fell in love with one of them or the other one. Let us know who you're rooting for, who you would like to see take down $523,000 and the World Series of Poker gold bracelet. Couple of sevens here for Melson. He's moving all in. An ace for Yosifov.
Yeah, pretty unappetizing prospect. Do you have a player behind 15 big blind shove? Would be a little shocked, Donnie, personally.
Yeah, I mean, you also, like, there's kind of really no need to double up Melson. You're in good control, so even keeping him around as a short stack is just fine.
100%.
He does give it up. Hoy follows suit, and Melson takes that one. So a couple of shoves there for the man from Norway, and he's chipping up back over 8.6 million. Still playing 250,000, 500,000 for the level. Yosifov well out in front here with more than 30 million in his stack. These final three players came from a field of 1,252 entries. Action here over to Hoy in the small blind. Jack 6 off. He min raises to 1 million. Melson with 9-8 off from the big blind. He's going to come along. Eight, 7, 4. Top pair for Melson. Hoy first to act. 1 million again. Melson might just put this in.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me here, Donnie, and it goes.
Yeah, there are some draws out there. Not really want to give in any free cards. Your hand does have some vulnerability towards it, or to it.
Yeah, part of the problem with this sort of min-raised small blind strategy, you do allow the big blind, you know, to see a lot of flops, right, for the min-raise, and then you can get in these sticky situations post. Have to get out of the way. Well done. Melson continues the upward trajectory.
Yeah, he does flip stacks now, moving slightly ahead of Hoy. Melson up to 10.6 million, Hoy on 9 million. These players are guaranteed $249,000. Second place worth $348,000, and then first place $523,000. $3,000 buy-in in this one. Freeze out as well, so everyone's on a single entry. Hoy here on the button. King 9 off. Raises to 1 million. Yosifov not going to play the 9-3 off from the big blind. Hoy takes that one. Now virtually tied with Yosifov, or sorry, with Melson. See, Hoy's rail has shifted a little bit. They've moved around the table.
gravitating round.
Oh. Oh,
In
sorry.
the, in the visor there, that was Madison, Hoy's fiance. She was on her bachelorette party and then decided to skip it to come watch her man at this final table. That's some loyalty and that is some support. You love to see it.
You really do.
Yeah, I mean, super exciting opportunity for Hoy. So it's great to have her here to experience it as well.
I'd like to say that my fiance would be on the rail too.
Yeah, I think my wife would definitely be on the rail, pending we could find a babysitter for the kids. But other than that, yes, for sure. And I would 100% want her there. You know, like that would just be like the ultimate moment.
100%. I was gonna make
your fiance would
I was
have
gonna
a
make
little
a
bit
joke
longer
there.
to
You see,
to travel.
she would have a lot longer to travel. It's true. I was gonna make a joke and be like, oh, you know, I'd like to say that she would be there, but you know, I'd like to. I can't. But you know, no, but she actually really is the best, so she would be there. With bells on. In fact, she will be there. We're gonna manifest it, Donnie.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's perfect because, you know, before you make the WSOP main event final table, there's that day off. You know, that's
that's right.
That's when they fly out.
Yes.
You know? That's how it works.
We're getting it done this year, I'm telling you.
I'll be there as well. If you make the final table, I'll be there with fucking bells on. I'll tell
Good
you
man.
that much.
Same goes for me to you.
Ace 7 of clubs. Another min raise here from the small blind. A couple of threes here for Melson. He's all in.
This could be it for sure. And here we go.
Yeah,
Snaps
Melson,
it off.
Or sorry, Hoy calls it off.
No, svoj 7.
And this is a huge flip.
Na svoj 7. Аз не знам кой е по-голям от двамата.
Blind on blind confrontation. Hoy raising. Melson with the 3-bet jam. Swiftly called. Here we go.
These two are basically even in chips. Melson covers by 650K. So if Melson loses, he's down to just over one big blind. If Melson wins, Hoy's going to be out the door in third place. Massive flip here. Here comes the flop. King, queen, 4. One club out there. Hoy has a couple of clubs in his hand. Those threes are still best for Melson. 9 of spades on the turn. That leaves Hoy needing one of 6 outs, an ace or a 7 here on the river. River card is the queen of clubs, and we are going to lose Ben Hoy in third place. They are very, very close in chips, so the dealer are going to count things down right here. As long as our graphics are correct,
I don't know.
Hoy's going to be out in third place. $249,000 for him.
I think he
Аз
does.
съм с около 30 милиона.
And what a fantastic
Yes,
run from
yes,
him.
no advice.
Entertained us throughout our coverage here on this final table. Unfortunately, couldn't get there against the pocket threes of Melson, and it looks like his day is indeed run in third place. Put on a great show, though, right? He was in there. He was swinging from the trenches, swinging for the fences.
Yeah, it was evident early that Ben Hoy came to win, and he played as such. He did not back down from spots. He got his chips in. Maybe a little bit riskier than some players would, but when you're trying to win first place and that's the goal, like sometimes that's what you got to do.
Absolutely.
Ultimately, he's going to finish here with a $250,000. A great, great finish for him.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
And now he can go celebrate with his fiancée, Madison.
Good luck.
Good luck, man.
Good play.
Yeah. Let's see who is the better player.
All right, now we
we're gonna
have
take a break,
Melson
I think.
versus Yosifov. We have Norway versus Bulgaria for the WSOP gold bracelet. If you would like to go out on your path to poker mastery, check out OccupyPoker.ai, a fun, social, and affordable way to learn poker. Join the growing Octopi tribe over at OccupyPoker.ai or scan that QR code on your screen right there. Andrew Lucky Chewy Lichtenberger, Nick Schulman, Victoria Lifshitz, Stephen Chidwick, all members of the Octopi Poker team. There you see the prize on the line. A World Series of Poker gold bracelet. It would be the first for either of these players. Erlend Melson out of Norway, Nikolay Yosifov out of Bulgaria.
Good luck, guys. Thank you.
$523,000 in first place prize money up for grabs. Second place, these players have locked up $348,000.
Yep. Sorry.
Yosifov starts with the chip lead. He's got his opponent 3-2. But pretty deep. I mean, Melson's got 40 bigs,
40
which is
blinds, yeah.
Plenty to work with in heads-up play.
Tell you something, quite the heads-up match, right? 185K or so.
Oh, yeah.
That is a big chunk of change. He's going to kick us off, Melson, a resident Norwegian, with a limp from the button. The Jack 4.
Ace, 7, deuce, rainbow. Yosifov does connect with that deuce. Check, check. 3 of clubs on the turn. 500K from the Bulgarian. Fold from Melson.
Yeah, very much looking forward to this. I do love heads up. I've played a bunch of the old spin and goes in my time, Donnie, in the misspent time online. So played a lot of this sort of 30 bigs and below heads up stuff. This is where I pretend that I'm going to know what I'm talking about.
Well, you'll know way more than me. Certainly heads up is not my game. I mean, I'd be fine if I ultimately got there in tournaments, and I have online and whatnot. So
yeah, you always have to think on your feet, right? You're always sort of street fighting, so to speak. Got to fight for every pot.
Yeah, I mean everything just kind of gets widened. You know, you got to play more marginal hands. You got to be willing to get in there with kind of any sort of pair.
Sure.
Sometimes just high cards. You also have to, as you mentioned, you have to fight for really every single pot. You know, you can't just this isn't 8-handed anymore. You can't just fold and like chill out. No, you're engaged every single time. Both players here with Jack 8, so we are going to see who is the true best player between these two because they have the same hand. Yosifov raised on the button. Oh, and it gets even better. Melson defends. Both players flop a pair of jacks. Yosifov on the free roll with clubs. Check, check. King on the turn. No more free roll.
Yeah, typically the kind of board that you will see check to showdown a lot. You know, Yosifov not going to be thrilled to put money in. Interesting though, we do have 4 cards to a straight. And the one person with the ace-X advantage is of course going to be Yosifov most of the time, but he's happy to just check it back. Chop this one up.
Yeah, plenty of showdown value there for Yosifov.
Hand a little too good to be deciding to turn into a bluff.
These two are going to chop this one up. Chip stacks stay the same. Still 3-2 in favor of the Bulgarian.
One thing I do love, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no deals at the series, right?
No, I mean,
as far as I know.
As far as I know, you could do something on the side, but you know, it's not like officially facilitated.
Okay, I kind of love it though, because that's like pure, you know, pure poker, right? Let's play heads up for 180K sort of pay jump.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure some players do some stuff on the side or whatever, but you know, you don't often hear from it. Usually these players are just, they're playing for the bracelet, they're playing for the money that's at stake, and that's how it goes.
Beautiful.
And as you mentioned, I mean, that's very pure. And I think generally, I'm a no-chop guy.
We love seeing it, right?
You know, I think that when you get to this spot in a tournament and you don't often get to heads-up play in tournaments, that you really do need to maximize your EV. Of course, things change when you get to, like, the WSOP main event, and it's $1 million pay jumps and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But stuff like this, I mean, I think it is important to maximize your EV. And I think these players specifically, they probably both feel like they have a really good shot. They've both played extremely well. Even Melson, even though he's at the chip disadvantage to start, he still has plenty to work with. It's not like he has 10 big blinds and it's just kind of a crapshoot.
Right.
He has 40 big blinds to work with, so plenty of maneuverability that he can certainly fight against Yosifov. King Jack Jack here. Melson comes out betting after checked 2. Yosifov with the best of it makes the call.
Yeah, Yosifov deciding just to call pre-flop. Felt like 40 big blinds was a little too much to try and get in pre-flop with just a pair of 7s. Of course, going to check call 1 street here. Does improve to a full house. Jack on the turn. Decision back on Melson. One of these spots here where like we could potentially bet again. Just try and deny hands like Queen 10, Queen 9. Like some diamond flush draws, right? We can still have the best of it. Does decide to do that. Comes with 1.1 million. Certainly with those ideas in mind.
Always hard to make your opponent fold a full house.
Absolutely.
Yosifov does make the call. Queen of diamonds on the river. Check, check, and Yosifov is going to take it here. He's got jacks over 7s, or jacks full of 7s, excuse me. And he will stretch out his lead up to 34 million.
Like a pretty well played hand by both for sure. Melson just trying to deny some equity, unfortunately for him, his opponent, with a disguised pocket pair.
See a question in the chat saying, what's a freeze out mean? You don't see it often these days in poker, so understandable question. Freeze out means 1 entry and 1 entry only. Oftentimes in tournaments, players are allowed at least 1 re-entry, if not multiple. But in this tournament, there are several of them on the World Series of Poker schedule. Freeze out, you can only enter 1 time. So that's similar to the WSOP main event. That's the king of all freeze outs, of course.
So good. I do love it though, because it's, you know, when you just play a tournament and, you know, these re-entry tournaments and you see like one of the best pros in the world just in there firing 4, 5, 6 times and he just keeps coming back from the dead like the Undertaker.
Yeah.
It's not much fun. Whereas freeze-outs, I think you've got more, you know, it's pretty pure.
Yeah, no, I like freeze-outs.
Yeah, me too.
Or, you know, like the 1 entry per flight type of thing I think is fine as well.
One re-entry seems like the sweet spot.
I'll take my shots here and there and some bigger stuff, and I've always kind of shied away if it's like an unlimited re-entry or something like that, just for the exact reason that you said. You know, you got Alex Foxen in there for 7 bullets. I'm like, well, I'm never going to beat Alex Foxen if he's got 7 lives. I mean, I had no shot. 1 life, maybe. Maybe I get lucky.
Don't underestimate yourself.
Shout out Alex Foxen, one of the best players in the world.
He really is. Super nice guy, too.
Yes, very.
Yeah.
9-7 suited here on the button.
I kind of wanted to hate him, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very disheartening.
I feel like I want to hate a lot of poker players, and I just ultimately end up liking them all.
Yeah.
Raised to 1.3. Blinds are up to 300,000, 600,000. Yosifov's going to defend the Queen 8 off. 3.2 out there. Here we go. King 7-4. Nice looking flop for Melson. He flops a pair of 7s and a flush draw. Flopping a pair alone in heads up play is generally a pretty big hand. He's got those spades to go along with it.
Yeah, has absolutely smashed this one. Yosifov here, very unappetizing type of combo to want to continue. Quickly gets out of the way.
Blinds in this event go up every hour. So 60-minute levels here. So we just went up to 300,000, 600,000, so it's going to be a while before we see the next blind increase.
Do they shorten it heads up or no? I know that I know that in some events, you know, they will cut it in half or whatever when it's heads up.
They should, but they don't.
They don't do it here, okay.
No. I would like to at some point, and it's not just World Series Poker, it's everywhere, but like at a final table, every time someone goes out, you shorten it by like 10 minutes or something.
Sure.
You know, I mean, play goes faster anyway.
Yeah.
So. 1.3 million on the button from Yosifov. Jack 8 off. Melson's got king deuce off from the big. He defends, so 3.2 million out there once again between these two. Jack 4-4. Yosifov flops 2 pair. $700K is the wager.
That makes a lot of sense. Around about 20% pot. Gonna know that, you know, as you already referenced, anytime you flop a pair heads up, really big hand. Trying to maximize it there with that small size on the paired board, no taker. Quick fold from Melson with just the dusty king high. We gotta get these guys some rail, man. I'm sorry, it's just breaking my heart. They're heads up for their first ever bracelet. 525K. And look at it. Where is everyone?
I know. It's like, I mean, we don't know too much about these players, but it's they're probably experienced, and we just are unknown to them.
And to be fair,
like the more experienced that they are, the less of a rail that you have.
I think also we do have a Norwegian and a Bulgarian who likely, you know, we're a long way from home to just phone the boys and say, do you want to pop down?
Of course. I mean, you're a long way from home. Do you have a lot of friends here?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's loads of us here kicking around, trying to chase the dream. I have to make a final table first. That's the big problem. Heads up here, limp pots. Melson with the best of it with 10 high. Both players content to check down to the river. Yosifov river in the best of it here. And it's going to look to eke out a little bit of value. Try and get called off by a hand like a king high, queen high. I think it's curious. He's going to take it down. I guess it depends on the player too, right? Like sometimes I think to myself, if I do get in that spot, I'm not sure I want like a crazy rowdy rail.
I want
like,
the
don't
craziest.
you think? Yeah, you do. You want it to be nuts.
Like I want 70 people on the rail. I want to be tipping for all the drinks. I want just absolute madness. Likely losing my own composure at the table because of what's on the line.
It's
like,
so exciting.
I want it all.
Loving that
for sure. You get 2 types of rails normally at the World Series of Poker. You get the rails like we saw for Chris Hunican, Big Huni, you know, like friends and family. You get that type of rail. But then you also get the rail like we saw a couple of days ago where Phil Hellmuth's going for bracelet number 18. And it's just like a fan rail. Like no one really knows Phil. But they're all there rooting for Phil.
Okay, I got you.
Like you get that when you get like a Negreanu at a final table or an Ivy or a Phil Hellmuth.
Sure.
You know, you just get like all the fans of the game. And there are plenty of them here. There's plenty of them in Vegas. They get word of it, and they're like, I got to go down and sweat. Like, I got to go down. This is history, you know?
Got it.
So you get that sort of aspect. So it's a lot of fun. Of course, the WSOP main event gets an insane rail every single year, understandably so. So always look forward to that.
Absolutely. Limped pot here. Yosifov on the button with the 9-7. Does have the best of it. Melson declined to bump it up pre with an ace in hand. Very interesting now. Gonna overbet the turn with the nut flush draw. 2x pot, no less. Gets the better hand to fold. Well played.
First overbet we've seen.
It is. Yeah, heads up, always a little spicier. You gotta start getting after it.
Yosifov now about 2-1 over Melson. 33.5 to 16.6. These players are playing heads up for around $180,000 in prize money. $523,000 up top, $348,000 secured. The World Series of Poker gold bracelet on the line. Both players would earn their first piece of WSOP hardware.
Yeah, big old pay jump. Fairly cagey in the opening exchanges here, heads up. Which is kind of what you expect, I think.
Yeah, you almost have to reset, just because
Sure.
heads-up play is so much different than even three-handed. It's just so much different than everything else. So you have that feeling out period of getting adjusted to players, at like a five-handed final table, which they played for a long period today. But then you get down to heads-up, and it's like you kind of have to readjust. So there is that feeling out period, as you mentioned, where these players are going to kind of see how it goes. Sometimes, yes, players are going to be super short, and the chips are just going to go in like the first couple of big hands, whatever. But here, Melson started 40 big blinds deep as the effective stack, so there's still plenty of play for this stage of a tournament. So plenty of feeling out here to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, no one wants to lose. Everyone wants to win. Jack 9-9 here. This was a limped pot. Yosifov in position with the queen deuce.
Yeah, fairly typical for heads up. You do see a lot of limp stabbing on these dry boards for one big blind. Melson, though, with king high, correctly recognizing that his hand is best for the moment. Feels he needs to continue versus the small size.
8 on the turn here. That king high is still good for Melson.
Yeah, decision on Yosifov. Does, of course, now have a gut shot to the straight and one overcard. Look at this. I'm going to decide to fire that second shell. Try and target hands like Melson has. And like a king high, an ace high. Something like an 8, something like a 7-8 or something. Try and get it out of there. But it's just under full pot. Well done.
A lot of pressure being applied there from Yosifov, and he gets it done. There's a little bit of a rail.
There we go.
There we go.
Go on, lads.
They kind of shifted around the table.
We almost got a bit of applause. We're going to make it our mission, Donnie. If either of us final tables,
I'm in.
we'll make it the most ballistic rail
I am in.
that this town has ever seen. Melson now on the button, 5-6 off, is going to complete. Yosifov content to check with the 3-4. To the 9-5-7 rainbow board. Melson remains best. Bottom pair here and a gut shot. Jack of clubs on the turn. Yosifov here with just 4 high. Decides not to attack the turn. King on the river. Does of course know, can't win this pot unless he puts some chips in. And here we go, is gonna go for it. One for the old fake value bet. Not gonna get it done. Well done, Melson, picks it off.
What is that?
5-6.
Maybe a little bit of a sort of exploit stab there from Yosifov, just thinking, all right, I can't win. Let's just bet one big blind and hope my opponent has absolutely no peace. Probably likely to bet bigger with any real value, I think.
Shout out to Brian Willis with the $5 donation.
Oh.
You're new, but we always
Okay.
say the $5 donation to the coffee fund. That's,
Beautiful.
That's what we do. Says, I want someone from commentary to make a final table and do commentary while at the final table. Plus, give a shout out to the chat while in the hand. I don't
Wow.
think that they would allow us to do the commentary while also at the final table. It would be great.
I mean, that's a lot of stress. I'm not sure I want that level of stress.
Yeah, I mean, that is very true.
Yeah.
Thank you for the donation, Brian. And we did hit 1,000 likes. We're up over 1,200 actually, so that's great. Andrew just gave a fist bump.
Is that good? Is that strong?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we always aim for 1,000.
Beautiful.
And then we go from there. So now that we've hit 1,000, actually up over 1,200, I want to see 2,000 likes.
Ooh.
I have no idea how long this heads-up match is going to end. These guys are pretty deep. Certainly no one wants to lose. Hard to pry chips from the other players, so we could be here for an hour or so. I have no idea. So smash that like button if you would be so kind.
As we see Yosifov here, limps with deuces. Melson decides to raise, makes it 2.1 million. Yosifov just calls with the ducks in position.
Jack 10-9. Nelson does have a straight draw that he flopped here, but
Yeah, very awkward spot. Is the type of board that, you know, when your opponent does limp call from the button, they're going to hit this board pretty well. At least, you know, they're going to wrap around it, hit some part of it. Of course, Yosifov with the underpair to the 3 overcards. Nelson is going to keep firing.
1/3 pot here, 1.6 million into 4.8 million. And those deuces are in the muck for Yosifov, so well done there from Melson. And he gets things back to where we started.
Yeah.
19 million to 30 million. Or 20 million to 30 million. 3-2 in favor of the Bulgarian.
Yeah, maybe a little glimpse into Yosifov's mindset there. You know, for sort of, I think it was like 28, 30 bigs against the ISO. Certainly against some players there, you can just limp shove your deuces for sure. If they're, you know, if you perceive them to be overly aggressive. Yosifov perhaps thinking that he wants to, you know, keep the pot small before getting the money in. Of course, understandable to go down that route. Also, 1,200 likes. I can hold my head up high then, Donnie. There you go. Brilliant.
Yeah. Over 1,300 now. I actually forgot that YouTube removed functionality to see the likes. So people were asking in the chat because they can't see them anymore.
Oh, I see. I'm famously weak when it comes to technology in my friendship group. They always make fun of me. I never know these things.
If you would like to play in the PGT Championship $1 Million free roll, there are multiple ways to win. You can find out all those different ways that you could possibly win over at pgt.com/dream. It is a limited time offer to be able to get into the various giveaways that are out there. So pgt.com/dream, and you could be playing at the PokerGO studio at the end of the PGT season in $1 million free roll. That's pretty awesome, if you ask me.
Absolutely right. The words free roll and $1 million put together, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, last year that event, $500,000 first place prize. Daniel Smilkovic won it.
Did he really?
He did.
Smilly,
Yeah.
as we know him. He's a beast, by the way.
He is.
Absurd. Absurd human. Absurd poker player.
Yeah, he defeated Arden Cho in heads-up play. Arden Cho was one of those Dream Seat winners.
Oh, really?
And then she ended up finishing in second place. So it can happen.
Did not know
You
that
can
either.
get in there for free and you can win a ton of money. These two right here trying to win a ton of money. Erlend Melson, Nikolay Yosifov. Melson out of Norway, Yosifov out of Bulgaria. Kind of one of the best things that you see at the World Series of Poker is the international vibe. You know, everyone from all over the world comes here. They embark on Las Vegas. They try and win money. They try and win gold bracelets. It really is awesome to see.
Yeah, it's an amazing cultural melting pot. I do love that, though. There is, you're absolutely right. All different cultures, all different ages, all different races. Everybody's here. Everyone's battling on the felt for that little piece of immortality, little piece of history, that little gold bracelet that everybody wants.
Oh, yes.
position on Yosifov. 9-6 off on the button. Does continue this limping strategy.
Check.
Melson declines the option to raise with the Jack Deuce.
Nine, 7, 3. Yosifov flopping top pair with that 9.
As they continue to feel each other out here in the early going.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like we're kind of just waiting
My
for
turn.
Right.
a big
My
clash.
turn to be
you
on
know?
the big
Sure.
blind. I don't mind if you want to be on the big blind for every single hand. I'm fine with that.
I bet you are.
Yeah, intrigued to see if if one of these players does start to try and push the action. In fairness, you know, the cards aren't exactly playing ball. Hasn't been too much to speak of in terms of confrontations. But both playing kind of, yeah, you don't want to say passive, but playing sort of ABC, so to speak, so far. Pretty standard.
Fold there on the button from Melson. Not electing to get involved with the ace deuce, or sorry, 8 deuce suited. If you folded an ace on the button, I would just leave the booth.
Me too. I would be
Like,
very upset.
I'd be like, you guys can handle this on your own. I'm out of here.
I'd make some
not dealing with this."
expletive laden joke or statement and say, thank you very much. I've enjoyed my evening, but it's time to go.
Haven't really seen these players misstep at all.
No.
I mean, they've both played extremely solid. They've gotten aggressive when they needed to.
Well, we were asking for a big hand.
Yeah,
There's one.
we got one of them. Yosifov, couple of kings here. He's going to continue with that limping. An ace 10 of diamonds for Melson. Here we go. Certainly going to see a raise from him here. And then it's going to be
Wow.
up to Yosifov to see how he wants to play this. I could see him calling with some frequency. Maybe he does elect to raise, yes, but could continue to under-rep his hand here, certainly.
Yeah, they could potentially get this in 30 big blinds deep. 2 massive hands heads up.
Melson made it 2.1, and it looks like we're about to get a re-raise.
Wow, this is chunky. Looks like about 6.5. 5.6.
This is a very good hand for Melson in heads-up play. Ace 10 suited.
I'm all in.
And he
he
does
shoves.
just put it in.
Uh-oh.
Yosifov makes the quick call with those kings. And here we go. Nikolay Yosifov has the chip lead, has the pocket kings. And he's got one hand on the bracelet right now if he can hold.
Goodness me, out of nowhere. The explosion.
It was just small pot,
Yeah.
chip away, you know, just some little jabs here and there for either player, and then all of a sudden, boom. An absolute collision here at the event 49 final table. Melson gonna need some help if he wants to stay alive and double up. Queen 9-5, not there yet for Melson. 1 diamond. Those kings still out in front for Yosifov. Jack of spades on the turn. Okay.
It is
9
never
outs now.
easy.
It's never easy. It's always a sweat. Melson has 9 outs. An ace, a king, or an 8. And he finds the king on the river. You can see the reaction there from Yosifov. He cannot believe it.
Goodness me, Donnie. King of spades on the river. Dagger to the heart of Yosifov. And just like that, Melson takes a big chip lead heads up and was one card away from being over. Wow.
Yosifov had it. He had it right there. You said it. One card to come. Just needed to fade 1 of 9 outs. Could not do it. And Melson shoots up to over 35 million. The positive thing for Yosifov is that 14.5 million, still some playability here. That's why you have big chip leads, so you can absorb dents, take some bad beats, hopefully in stride, and come back from them.
17.
Absolutely right.
But man,
Oh, it's tough.
That's got to sting.
Gotta hurt. Literally one card away from your first World Series bracelet and over $500,000 snatched away, at least for the time being. You just gotta shake it off, right, and get right back to business. One of the hardest things for us to do as poker players. He doesn't seem like the type that'll be too, you know, like he's been pretty much unflappable throughout.
Yep, no, for sure. I would expect him to get right back to business. Bump in the road, as they say.
Absolutely.
Still got 24 big blinds to work with here. Melson, Erlend Melson out of Norway, finds a king on the river to make a Broadway straight. Cracks the kings of Nikolay Yosifov, and now he is the big chip leader in heads-up play, and he's the one with one hand on the bracelet and $523,000.
Incredible turn of events. And Melson, well, finding heat when it matters. Pocket jacks here on the button. Does make it 1.3. Yosifov gonna defend. King 5 of clubs.
Heads up.
Yeah, right back to work. Forget about the bad beat. Got to get back down to business because heads-up poker waits for no one. Ace, 10, 7. One club out there. Yosifov checks.
Yeah, pretty typical to see small c-bet here. Exactly what Melson decides on. Shade over 1/3 pot. Yosifov feels like that backdoor straight and flush draw with the king high is good enough to continue. Gonna take one off.
Ace of diamonds on the turn, pairs the board.
Check.
Interesting, Melson checks back turn. Little bit of pot control.
6 of clubs slides in there on the end. Yosifov checks. Let's see if Melson goes value hunting here. 5.6 million out there.
It was a very quick turn check. Certainly could consider jacks to be strong enough, in my eyes, to go for the 3 streets. You know, it's 20 big blinds or so heads up. Unlikely that Yosifov has too many ace-X. Does find a nice chunky river value bet. 4 million into 5.6. Yosifov trying to assign the correct number of bluffs to this line from Melson. You know, what kind of hands are going to bet, check, bet large as a bluff here? The problem is, you know, some of these hands could still beat us, right? Like if a random hand like deuces or threes or something like this randomly decides to bluff, which, you know, I'm stretching, but you feel me.
Understandable. I mean, Yosifov is interested. Wow. He's going to make the call. He's going to see the bad news.
Goodness
Those jacks are tabled from Melson. 2 pair, aces and jacks. And the Norwegian takes an even larger chip lead. 42 million now.
Yeah, potential.
For Melson.
Catastrophic misstep, potentially, for Yosifov.
Yosifov
maybe a little emotional after the previous hand. Tough to say. Does make that big hero call. Unfortunately for him. Sees the pocket jacks and gets the bad news.
Melson now just over 12 big blinds. Or sorry, Yosifov just over 12 big blinds. Excuse me. King, queen off. Notice the change in demeanor for him.
Right.
You know, a little bit like kind of deflated in a way.
Flustered, right?
All in.
It's unfortunate. Here is the all-in shove. Yosifov moving all in. Melson's going to give up the jack deuce off.
Yeah, we have said that he's been unflappable throughout. A few cracks beginning to show, understandably so. Very emotional few moments for him. Hopefully for his sake he can gather himself. Still in this fight.
Let us know in the chat, do you think the Bulgarian Nikolay Yosifov can come back? Will he come back? Will he get the wind back into his sails? Fight his way up off the mat. First time we've really seen him, you know, knocked down. Not out of it yet, though.
Absolutely.
Ace queen off here for Melson.
Raise 1.3.
He makes it 1.3 million.
Oh, wow.
Ace 7 for Yosifov. Could he jam? If he does, he is certainly going to run into it.
All in.
There's the shove. He's going to get hit with a call. And now it's Erlend Melson, the Norwegian, with one hand on the gold bracelet. But he has to hold. We saw him crack the kings with ace 10 of Yosifov. Can Yosifov return the bad beat?
Absolutely. What a turn of events, Donnie. Yosifov had one hand on the bracelet, on the trophy, on the title mere moments ago. All of a sudden, Melson in position to take down this event.
4 deuce deuce. Now some chop outs. Yosifov in search of a 7. A 4 would also allow them to chop this one up. Turn card is the deuce of hearts. River card to come. It is the 6 of diamonds, and that is going to do it. Norway's Erlend Melson is the champion of event number 49 here at the 2024 World Series of Poker. $523,000 in prize money and his first World Series of Poker gold bracelet. That man right there, shaking hands with his real Nikolay Yosifov, played great. Came into today's final table with the chip lead. Ultimately had his kings cracked in the end, and he could not come back from it.
Yeah, really feel for him, Donnie. Yosifov really put on a fantastic showing. Sometimes heads up, it just comes down to it, right? 2 or 3 hands, you're on the wrong side of it. Unfortunately for him, second place.
It was a great show. It was my pleasure, Andrew Headley, to have you alongside of me. Hopefully we can do this again soon. My name is Donnie Peters. This was the $3,000 No-Limit Hold'em Freezeout final table. Erlend Melson out of Norway is the champion. And with that, good night from Las Vegas.